Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode has a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits in the overarching plot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order, and you can skip any you don't enjoy. Today, we are playing using the combat mechanics from a game called Heroes of Adventure. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Heroes of Adventure on itch.io. itch.io. Build your own Heroes of Adventure character and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Errol Corvidbow.
Yes, hello. Errol Corvidbow. I am a 4-foot-tall halfling. I wear a large, wide-brimmed hat with a feather sticking out of the back. I have an eye patch over my right eye, as well as a burn scar down the right side of my face. I also have a white puffy shirt, gold rings on my fingers, and some nice shiny boots.
Chico Barrett.
Hi there, nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Chico Barrett. I'm a 3-foot-4-inch tall desert cottontail rabbit folk. Got tan fur, white chin and belly, and orange paws. And today I'm wearing just my usual cotton shirt, denim overalls, my straw hat, and a backpack filled with straw.
And Ignatious Cogbright.
Good afternoon. My name is Ignatious Cogbright. I am a 2-foot-6-inch tall gnome, dressed absolutely to the nines. And today I am wearing a violet cravat and matching vest. I'm wearing a top hat today. I have a luscious black mustache and thick black hair.
Excellent. I have got 5 different categories of epilogues to share with you at the end of this adventure, players. The outcome for each category depends on what you do during your adventure. So, the future of the NPCs is in your hands. Will you solve this mystery? Let's find out. The 3 of you are sitting in a carriage. Across from you sit 2 costumed people. One is Xavier Tin Man, a robot who lacks legs. He has decorated his rolling base to make it look like he's sitting on a toilet. The other person is a 3-foot-tall, pregnant nun. Well, not really. Errol, your father Cyril's green eyes twinkle at you from under his wimple, which is what he told you earlier that the white wrapping around a nun's face is called, while chuckling and putting it on. Everyone, the carriage is taking you 5 people to Goldberry Farm, home of the Barrett clan. It's time for the annual harvest festival to honor Mai, the coyote harvest goddess. Mai's harvest festival has free admission. This is the one time a year when the Barrett clan opens their arms to welcome in outsiders. They also open their refrigerators, too, and serve free food all day. The Barrett clan takes great pride in showing off what vegetables they have grown and what abundance they have. The area's needy appreciate the free food. Poor people, barely scraping by, come from nearby settlements for a hot meal, maybe the only one they've eaten that day, or the day before even. Imagine a Halloween party and a Thanksgiving feast all rolled into one. You remember Nulisag sent you here so you can help domesticate Xavier, the mildly evil ward of the guild, and get Xavier to trust you enough to tell you more about the nefarious plans of his guild, the Deep Ooze. So as the carriage slows down, approaching Goldberry Farm, what costumes are you all wearing?
Ignatious is dressed like Chico.
Errol is wearing some giant purple and silver butterfly wings and a small cap with antenna popping out the front. He had a dream where he was a butterfly, and it was really pleasant, so that's his costume.
It was pleasant.
Aside from the fire, being a butterfly was pleasant.
And Chico is wearing his newly or acquired, well, not newly acquired, but recently acquired onesie, or, vigilante superhero onesie that he got from Batmoth a long time ago. And he wears that.
I'm going to change my answer. Instead of dressing like Chico, since Ignatius is so small, the only costume they could find him that fit him is like a baby costume, so he's dressed up like a little ballerina. He has the tutu and the tights on and everything, but he's still wearing his top hat and has a thick, bushy mustache. And he thinks he looks quite dashing.
Oh, man. I love it. We got the ballerina with the mustache and the top hat. We got the butterfly who might be a little spark plug as well. We got Chico dressed up like the R for rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The incredible, magical, self-steering carriage drives past red, orange, and yellow trees. It's crisp in the air. It feels nice. This is fall. And the carriage arrives at Goldberry Farm. Players, please get a pen so you can write down the following locations. You can visit these at any time today. Ready?
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Straw doll making. Let me know when you've got that. Straw doll making.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Check.
Got it.
Check.
Butternut squash soup kitchen. Let me know when you've got that. Butternut squash soup kitchen.
Check.
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 Hay bale maze. Hay bale maze.
I'm going to look back on this in like a month and be like, what was I smoking?
Got it.
Got it.
Record way off. Record way off.
When you say way off, do you mean like weighing two things against each other?
WEIGH. Way off.
Now, for this way off, is it like vegetables they're weighing, or is it people they're weighing?
That is an
It sounds
interesting question.
Okay, so we don't know. It's just the name we got.
And I hear rumor that at the end of the night, there's a bonfire. Can someone read those back to me?
Yes. We got straw doll making, butternut squash soup kitchen, hay bale maze, record way off, and a bonfire.
Great. Where would you like to go first?
I assume we can't go to the bonfire till the end of the night. Am I correct about that?
That is the one thing that will only happen when you guys finish the adventure, and that's when I go through the conclusions, and it very much depends on what you got up to. Like, I've got 5 different categories of things. So the bonfire could be very fun. You could all be crying. We don't know yet what happens during the bonfire.
So, GM, the primary Nulasag sent us, and the only thing we were told was that, like, we're just working to get Xavier more ingrained into our group and learn more information from him. That was the only purpose we were sent here for.
For the other 2, but for you also, you've reconnected with your dad for the first time in 50 years. When you were 5 years old, he got sucked into a fairy carnival in the woods and didn't age, and you haven't seen him since then. So for everyone else, it's just like, well, I guess also Chico's visiting his family.
So Ignatius is here to babysit Mr. Xavier while you all go about your family activities.
Yeah.
Well, if I could make a suggestion, I'd say we should all try out the straw doll making. I'm an expert at it, but I'm pretty sure y'all would have quite a good time with it, especially Xavier here.
Well, if our goal is to integrate Xavier into our group, perhaps we should ask Xavier what he would like to do first. Xavier, what would you like to do of these activities?
I do not want to do any of these activities.
Okay, which one do you want to do the least? And we'll skip that one first.
Eating. I do not eat.
Okay, so we'll skip the soup kitchen. I say straw doll making's as good as any, since Mr. Xavier here is being rather, unhelpful in his assertions of where he would like to go.
I will say, I imagine Xavier would be excellent at making some straw dolls if he wished to do so. Also, I didn't mention this before in my description, but since Xavier is here with us, Errol would have prepared 2 full water skins to carry with him that he knows were untouched by anybody else.
Officially noted.
I must have missed that episode.
Ignatius, just keep an eye on him around any sources of water, if you would.
Okay, I can do that.
But Xavier, this is your chance to learn more about how friendly and kind biological beings can be. I know you've had a bad experience with them in the past, but we're at our best when we're communally experiencing events and sharing food together. I know that you can't enjoy the food itself, but perhaps you can learn something from the experience.
And let me just ask you this. I'm a fair hand at invention and tinkering. Would you like me to design some sort of contraption in the future, obviously, that is better than riding around on a commode?
This is my costume. And you see under the costume is a tank that can go up and down stairs.
Ah, okay.
It's a pun on the word tank. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, we know he has a good sense of humor.
I was actually going to ask about that, Xavier. Did you design your costume yourself?
I did.
That's a pretty nice, neat, nifty costume. I like it.
Thank you.
Well, so now we know he has a creative side. I think doll making is the best choice for Xavier.
Hey, Dad, are you okay with this? What if we make it into a challenge? Who can make the best doll? I bet Chico will beat all of us, but...
And then can you remind me what your dad sounds like? Just, I kind of forget. Does he have a...
I don't think he had a distinct character voice. It was...
He talked once in the once or twice in our adventure, and I didn't do too much with his voice.
Yeah, I'm just going to go slightly deeper. Oh, son, I'm just so glad to spend time with you.
No, that's great, Dad. I know that I was very short with you initially, and part of it had to do with I felt like, I'm the one who was without you. You enjoyed a carnival for quite a few years there. So I didn't react probably the way you expected me to, but I got along fine without you, but it's good to have you back. I'm glad to get to reconnect with you and get this opportunity to spend some time with you because I did miss you.
I missed you too. I just always forgot that I missed you. It was hell. I was cycling through getting popcorn, watching a show, realizing the horror of where I was and what was happening, forgetting, getting popcorn and watching a show and remembering and forgetting. It was, I'm so sorry that I missed your life, but I'm here now.
And I'm sorry that we, in a misfortunate choice, decided to age myself very, very fast in front of your eyes. I guess that was pretty traumatic. So sorry about that.
The shock helped me transition from where I was to where I am now. So I'm glad I'm here for you.
Also, the nun outfit is very interesting.
Hey.
I just realized, Xavier, I was calling you Mr. Xavier and referring to you as he. Is there a different pronoun you would prefer, seeing as you are, in fact, a machine?
I have adopted the masculine gender for interaction with your species.
All right, then. So I was not misgendering Mr. Xavier here, which makes me personally feel a little better. Shall we go build some dolls, gentlemen?
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
As you exit the carriage, everyone take your headphones off for a second. It's just you and me, listeners. All their headphones are off. Xavier waits until everyone else has left the carriage before his tank base turned toilet trundles off as well. What none of the players nor Cyril noticed, because he stayed behind to hide this activity, was Xavier pocketing a small magical artifact, the odor-absorbing hanging pine tree ornament. This ornament has been magically spelled to be like a bag of devouring, but just for odors. It's now in Xavier's tank base as he opens a hatch and drops it inside. So he did a steals. He's a crims. Okay, I'm waving them back in. Welcome back. Don't mind that. Now let's get you to where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
It's always ominous when she has everyone take off their headphones.
It's a story. All right. You're at straw doll making. Yay. You're walking around the farm. There's lots of people here. Now you notice a lot of them are bunnies, right?
Makes sense.
Yep, this is my family.
Yeah. And a lot of them are not bunnies. And the not bunnies are dressed in costume, but they're like, some people's costume is like a piece of paper pinned to their shirt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of this is to get the areas poor and needy here. At first glance, they're all kind of dressed in rags. Bales of hay are set up as rows of seats in a semicircle around a table. The weather is finally not too hot, and there's a crisp in the air that makes sitting on hay bales pleasant instead of miserable. A tan-furred bunny folk with orange accents and a gray bunny folk in a wheelchair are behind the table, holding up a handful of straw. The two are dressed like Barbie and Ken from the roller skating scene in that movie. Now, y'all are going to want to fold your straw in half, then use one piece to just tie below where you bent it, here. People around you sit on the hay bales. There are a variety of humans, elves, dwarves, orcs, and all sorts of animal folk wearing shabby costumes, their belly full, watching and following along with their own straw.
Oh, hey there, family. How you doing? I'm assuming it's my cousin and her new date. I forget his name. I remember meeting him on the ship.
Cole Bromley.
Thank you.
Yeah, and none of you have obscured your face. Possibly the butterfly has some face paint on, but you all have maintained your identities. What's interesting for me this episode is that all of your NPCs you encounter have a small chance of being completely without identification, but you can recognize these. They're, the Barbie outfit is really just wear neon pink and yellow and roller skates over your shoes, like side roller skates. Anyway, so everyone recognizes one another. Coraline calls out and goes, "Chico, hey!" She waves, and then, she's waving a straw doll as she waves.
Hey, it's nice to see you over here doing these parts with teaching all these folks how to make straw dolls. Of course, I don't need the help, but I brought my friends over to learn how, and having you teach them, that'd be fun.
Of course I can teach your friends. And she has her helper, Cole, hand her a pair of scissors and a bit of string and like a bit of fabric. And she runs it down to you and gives it to your friends. And you guys, Errol, Ignatious, you have acquired, ready? A bunch of straw.
Excellent.
A pair of scissors. A bit of string. And a square of fabric. And then a second smaller square of fabric. So I sent you guys a YouTube video before this about how to make straw dolls, and I'm just going to try to describe it. You take straw and you fold it in half and you tie your string around the fold, and that's going to be the head one day. And then you set that aside. And then you get your second straw and you fold that in half. You tie your string around the bend, and at the end, you tie your string about 2 inches from the end and you use your scissors to trim it up. And then we're still working with that second piece of straw that now has 2 ties around it. The bent end, you're going to take your scissors and cut that open. And these are going to be the left and right arms of your doll. You're going to insert that piece horizontally, like a T shape, in your first piece under the tied string so that the head has 2 arms on the left and the right. And then you tie where the waist would be. And then you put the fabric around it, and that's like your skirt. And then the other piece of fabric is an apron or like skirt decoration, or you can use it as a hat. You can make yourself a shirt, do whatever you want. And then you fix things together with string. How would your characters do at following these instructions?
Well, Chico's already made like 7 of them so far while you were discussing this. And it's just going off and handing them to the children around these parts and showing them and giving them names and all that, and giving his dolls names and handing all the poor children around here who are having a hard time.
Ignatius has set up an assembly line of children. So one kid folds, one, because like, we can make these so fast. And he's asked Xavier if he would like to be part of the assembly line, since being a machine, he's going to be very consistent and quick every time.
You notice that Xavier was moving out of the corner of your eye. You see him lean back from the person in front of you who's wearing a tool-stuffed ball gown and slip something in the pocket of his tank.
Ignatious is going to be like, Xavier, are you taking things from these friendly folks that have invited us here?
I have stored straw for later.
Can I see the straw that you stored?
He does bring some straw out from his tank.
Is that what was there straw in the thing he reached into? Is it likely that he grabbed straw?
Although you can't prove that that's the only thing he grabbed, he does have straw as well.
All right. Because I don't entirely trust you, seeing as you are a member of a guild that has tried to kill us on multiple occasions, I'm going to need to take a look in that tank you brought with you to see what else you have taken from this nice individual.
Negative. This is my personal possession area.
Well, sir, your personal possession area is either going to be checked willingly, or we're going to have a problem. We're going to have to go back to the Fire-Breathing Kittens Guild, and you can sit in your room and time out.
Interesting. Okay, so technically you guys are more powerful than him. I believe the last time he appeared, Kitschy was electro-zapping him. So you do technically have the ability to search him, but I'm going to just note for like Xavier relations that there is no Deep Ooze information sharing that will occur this session. You have not gained his trust.
Real quick, I am going to turn around to the guys behind me before I force it on them and be like, is that okay with you guys, or would you like to handle this differently? Because my understanding was supposed to bring him to our side, but at the same time, he is a member of an opposing guild, and I don't want him ruining our day today.
Well, yeah, last time he was with me, he ended up ruining the water supply and with a smile on his face. And I felt so guilty afterwards, not realizing what was happening. And I got in trouble, and everyone got a pay cut from, we won that competition, and we used our pay from that. But man, it just put a sour taste in my mouth. You do what you need to do, and I'm just going to focus on making this a happy celebration for all of us here, including the Xavier. But you do what you need to do, because yeah, I'm having a hard time trusting him now too.
Guys, I know that he has done things in the past that weren't good, but we have to learn to trust him in order to gain his trust. We can't be suspicious of every action he takes, and we have to allow him room to make the right decision. I don't like the things you do, Xavier, whenever you like go behind our back and poison water supplies and things like that, but
how very naughty of you.
I can't keep you from taking actions that I don't like. You know, if you took it and you put it on yourself, I'm not going to try and force it off of you, but I do think that you should consider your actions and how they affect other people.
All right. Errol, being a good individual and not quite as gun-toting as I am, does that sound like a fair deal to you? How about this, Xavier? I'm not going to check you. I'm going to take your word for it, because Errol's right. How about instead we all just stay all together, and we can hold hands when we're not doing things. We'll make friends that way.
Oh, man. So you guys, he extends his hand and you're holding his hand. And officially, he will not let go of your hand until the next area.
Okay.
So this area, he's holding your hand the whole time.
Question. How tall is Xavier?
It really depends on how extended the base is.
Well, because I'm 2'6", so I'm just wondering, is my hand like all the way up, or?
I imagine that it's like a ladder where it can telescope out.
Okay.
So his height is really very variable in my imagination for the current base that he has attached right now.
Now, I'm going to ask Xavier, is this an okay arrangement for you? Are you agreeing that this is a good compromise? Do you feel that we've violated your personal space now?
Fine. It is fine. And I'm going to make this a 0 instead of a -1 on the Xavier willingness to share information tracker.
GM, before we leave the straw making area, I didn't describe what Errol was doing, but he's unorthodox and doesn't necessarily like following the instructions exactly as they're told. And he's done his best to try and make a Xavier straw man. Would you like me to make a roll for that?
Yeah. All right. So we're playing Heroes of Adventure. Heroes of Adventure is basically D&D, except instead of rolling a d20 plus 3 for your skill, you roll a d20 plus a dice for your skill, where that dice can start out at a d4, increase to a d6, go to a d8, etc. So you've got your list of skills, Errol's player. Why don't you go ahead and pick something that you think would apply to this and tell me what dice you're rolling as a modifier?
So I definitely think I could use agility for this. Because can it be an attribute and a skill, or does it have to be one or the other?
In the rules, it has to be one or the other.
Yeah, so I'll just use an attribute because I don't have crafting as a skill. So it's a D8 for the agility and then a D20 to roll together.
Yeah.
I got a 15 total.
That is pretty good. Yeah, I think you've made a tank shaped. Is it toilet shaped or tank normal shaped?
I mean, as much as you can with straw, I would say a tank shape. So like oval type shape for treads and like a square or rectangular base, I guess.
Yeah, so there's Chico making like 7 dolls. There's Ignatius with the assembly line of all the like people around you. You put the head on, you put the arms on. And there's Errol with one very intricate, well-made. You've got strings. You know how origami, the more folds, the more realistic? You've got the more strings tied, the more round for the rolling. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The older woman in the row in front of you has long, graying hair in curls. She is wearing a pink mask and a tulle-stuffed ball gown with almost artistically cut holes in it. Rather than the fabric having worn thin and being torn apart by time and usage, it looks like these holes in the thick fabric were cut by scissors. She's holding a very pretty wand with a white star at the end of it. Up at the table, the gray bunny folk in the wheelchair holds up a bundle of straw whose ends have both been tied and hands it to the bunny folk with tan and orange fur. And she's doing her stuff. Insert this cross style into the first bundle to give your doll 2 arms. She gestures towards an insect folk. And you can repeat this step to give your doll 4 arms if you want. And so you've all made dolls. I'm going to roll. That was random, but also my favorite. The tank doll. A ghostly coyote specter appears, Errol, at the corner of your eye. You glance at it, but don't see it there anymore. Suddenly, Errol's straw doll springs to life. Like the gingerbread man, it rolls as fast as it can, beelining out of the circle of hay bale seats and right into a field of vegetables.
My Xavier straw man. Xavier, I made that for you and now it's getting away.
That was for me?
It was, but it got away from me. It did up and rolled off. I didn't expect it to do that.
Did you forget to make me something and you are lying?
Didn't you see it?
See what?
Guys, can you help me find this thing so I can prove to Xavier that I made it?
Yeah, I know you made it. And you said it jumped out of your hands and rolled off?
Yeah, it rolled off into the field, the hay field, or...
Well, it's not that surprising. I know weird things happen on the farm every now and then, and I'm used to it, used to around the fire bring the kittens.
Oh,
wait.
I forgot, Chico. I saw a coyote spirit out of the corner of my eye, and then my thing rolled off, and I'm wondering if we're supposed to go that way.
Nah, I know exactly what's happening now. Mai's playing a trick on you.
Yeah, but
that's gotta be what it is.
But maybe Mai wants us to see something that way. Last time, it led me to a water supply that was being manipulated.
That's right. Mai works in strange ways, and she has a way of playing tricks and doing the right thing. Yeah, Mai's got a knack for doing things like that. Yeah, she's probably going to try to get us to see something we need to see, but it's doing it in a clever way. Yeah, let's go ahead and find that straw tank of yours. Let's all go together. What do you think, Ignatius?
Well, I'm okay with it if Xavier's okay with it, because we just holding hands over here like a sweet couple.
I am following.
Yeah, let's go find it. Where did it go again?
Into a field of vegetables, Errol.
Oh, vegetables. Is it a particular vegetable or just a random assortment?
From this distance, you can see tomatoes and corn. It looks like a small vegetable patch far away.
All right. Well, I will lead the way since I saw which way it went.
All righty.
Errol's leading the way. You, Errol, have run far, far, far away from the straw doll crafting area. You're in a vegetable field. There are stalks of corn, tomato vines on the ground, a pepper plant, and a very large rhubarb. You hear distant coyote yipping, and the plants rustle as they shake. Rustle, 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 rustle. They're moving. They're pulling their roots up out of the ground and walking towards you. Everyone, please roll initiative.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
Trick or treat.
So because of my rapier, it's fast. I have advantage on initiative checks.
And initiative is a d20 plus our agility, right?
Yes, and advantage is rolling 2 dice and taking the higher number.
Now, does that 2 dice apply for the d20 and the d8?
Yes, and some thoughts on this system are if you have... Okay, I'll phrase it this way. Not everybody enjoys adding dice together and doing math. So one suggestion for this game is because you'll often be rolling 4 dice to see an outcome and doing math twice, adding like, what's 13 plus 6? And you're like, and then like, quick, do it. What's 12 plus 8, And so like, because you're rolling these dice together, one suggestion is if you don't enjoy math, to use an automatic dice roller and totaler. That way you just generate a number with a click of a mouse. If you're okay with math, rolling your clickety-clackities and adding them all together, this is a system where you're going to be doing that a lot. Lots of clickety-clackety and rolling.
If you just Google dice roller, Google's dice roller is actually pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so Errol, after adding together twice, what's the higher total?
25 was my highest result.
Yeah?
My result is 23.
Ignatius just really doesn't want to go because my highest was 7.
Ooh.
My lowest was 2. I rolled 1 on both the dice. The next time I rolled a 3 and a 4.
Wow.
Wow.
The 4 was on the 4-sided die, if that makes any difference. So I got 1 good roll.
Ooh.
I'm going to roll collectively for all the enemies. I don't think there's probably official rules somewhere, but I don't know if I read it. But so don't take my word as law. But I think there's no guidance for like them all attacking together or separately. So I prefer together because it's less for me to keep track of as a GM. So I've rolled for them and they got a 24. So they're going after Errol and before Chico and Ignatius. And that's going to be our turn order every turn. I just like establishing that. So that way when Errol goes, Chico knows to get ready. And when Chico goes, Ignatius knows to get ready. And Chico knows you go after the vegetables. Yeah, what's up?
GM, by the way, is Xavier here with us for the fight?
Oh, yes. Yes, he is.
He's
and
still
he's going to go
holding
with
my hand.
Ignatius.
Okay.
Xavier cross Ignatius.
Chico directs his attention to Xavier. Yeah, Xavier, look at these. These vegetables are coming alive. Let's kick their butts. This is going to be so much fun. Just like on the ship. You remember?
Rock'em sock'em.
Yeah.
So has Xavier let go of my hand, or are we still holding hands in this fight?
You're in
He's gotta
melee
have his-
together.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're still together?
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, you got to have his hands free to rock and sock him.
Are you letting go?
For a fight? Yeah, I'm going to let go.
Okay. Xavier has 2 punching arms. Good. Okay, and also with Heroes of Adventure, we've got a mortal wounds table instead of death. So every time you would, air quotes, die, instead you just get an injury, and it's injury accumulation it's permanent injury accumulation that leads you to abandon your character, not like the choice taken out of your hand by saying, oh, you died. Instead it's like, you don't have an arm or a leg that's functional anymore. You got disadvantage on these 4 rolls. Do you want to retire your character or seek healing, I'm going to basically go real hard at this combat because I don't have to worry about killing your characters. You just are going to get wounded. So take off there's one of the options on the wounds table is like your character actually dies. Just re-roll if you hit that, okay? Because I'm not interested in perma-killing your character in this moment. All right. So, yeah, you guys are in a vegetable field. Let's describe this vegetable field, all right? Picture a grid of 4, okay? Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. With theater of the mind, we've got to have a grid. In the top left, where Errol has run, are 6 tomato plants. In the bottom left, where Chico has run, are 7 corn stalks. In the top right is a rhubarb that thankfully nobody's standing near because it's huge. If you guys want to look up giant rhubarb when it's not your turn to look up how big giant rhubarb is, it's massive. I'm impressed. In the bottom right, with Ignatious and Xavier, is a pepper plant. I am using actual stats for... There's this like really cool monster manual that comes with this game. I'm using Fur Needler, Gas Spore, Gestalt, and Vine Choker for this adventure. Errol, you're near 6 tomato plants and they're coming at you in a menacing way. What do you do?
Okay, I just had to find the wounds table, so I have that up. So instead of HP damage, we'll roll on the wounds table when we're injured. Is that what you said?
When you were to die, if you were to drop to 0.
Okay, I got you.
This game suggests as an alternative, you can, and if you look at the wounds table, it's like disadvantage on this type of roll, minus 2 hit points permanently.
Okay, all right. So I would wield my rapier, and I would attempt to make some tomato sandwiches here. So I will use melee combat and roll my d20. I guess I'll attack the most vicious looking tomato.
There's 6 of them, so I'm just going with tomato 1.
Okay, that'll work.
Have you ever heard of the movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes, I have. There was a card.
That's all.
There was a cartoon too back in the day.
I hate to interrupt, but I just looked up an image of a rhubarb plant with someone standing next to it, and it makes you look like you're miniature sized.
Yes.
It looks like a small plant, but upscaled to make you look small.
Yeah, they're huge.
It's very uncanny. It's uncanny looking because, like I said, it looks like a small plant, but when you're standing next to it, so
yeah,
it's so weird.
That's nuts.
Rhubarb pie in the summer is kind of like conquering and victory to me. I'm like, yes, I have eaten this massive creature. That's statted as a gestalt. Yeah, they're huge. So Errol, and we're going to use this range band system that they use in the game. How combat works with melee is melee to the grid you're in. So Errol, you're in melee with the tomato. And the next closest band for the rhubarb and the corn. And then that diagonal, I'm going to make that the third band. And that way you can use your range attacks and stuff. You guys have fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. You roll a d20 and then you add what?
Melee, which is a d8, melee combat. Mm-hmm. I got a nat 20 and I rolled a 6 on the d8.
Nice. And what happens with criticals is that you double your damage, right?
I think that's what it said.
Okay, so you definitely hit. And you are dealing against a single target, right?
Yes. So it's a d6 for a rapier, and then... So I would take a 6 and then roll a d6, which would be 8 total.
8 damage. Describe what happens as you take out tomato plant number 1.
Yeah, I will slice and dice these tomatoes into nice little sandwich slices.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you do. It is a feast today. I'm going to say that you've acquired sandwiches. Go ahead. Next up is the vegetables. I have to roll how many times? Holy crap. Okay, I'm going to roll 5 times for the tomatoes, 7 times for the corn stalks, and then the rhubarb's going to stay where it is. I'm not dealing with that. And then the pepper plant's going to... Oh my gosh, so much rolling. Here goes. Now, for the DM side of things, I'm rolling what's called a skill dice for each of these. So the tomatoes, it's a d6. So I've got a d20 and a d6 that I'm rolling. So that's a 5 from the first tomato plant to hit Errol with a tomato in the face.
My defense is 15. It has to be over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The first one's going to miss you. You said 15, so I'll just tell you hit or miss from now on. Miss for the second one that's alive. Miss for the third one that's alive. That one hits. The fourth one that's alive hits you. It's attacking you with small tomatoes. So it does a D2. So it does 1 damage to you.
Saucy.
Saucy. And the very last one misses. Tomatoes are not much of a threat. The rhubarb is not going to move. The corn, Chico. Chico, you're standing amongst a row of 7 corn plants. that have surrounded you. It's like you're standing in the middle of a clock where all of the numbers are around you in each direction, and they're wailing on you with like whipping you with the corn. And it's kind of, that actually would be really painful because it's got a corn cob at the end.
Oh no! The corn's attacking me.
And what's your number so I can just tell you if these hit or miss?
Defense 15.
15. Okay, so I'll just tell you if these hit or miss. The first one hits you. Oh my. You have to roll a fortitude of 10 or impaired for 1 hour.
You haven't rolled damage yet, have you?
These don't really damage you. They just kind of give you impairment.
Oh, okay. I have an ability called Dodge. Avoid an opponent's attack must be called before damage is rolled. Would I be able to use that on this first attack? Okay. So Chico, you see Chico quickly turn to a substitution. It's a scarecrow, and the scarecrow gets hit by this corn, and he kind of backs off like a couple feet. He's still within range of everything else, but he reacts to that immediately. I can only do that once during, I believe, this fight.
Is it for one enemy?
Yes, E. Is that what that E stands for? Yeah.
Okay, so there's 6 of these things, and I'm not going to have them leave their grids because they're plants.
Oh, wait, no. The E stands for something else. No, I can only do that once per fight, I believe.
Oh, okay. I'll have you do it this round of combat. So you dodge the corn. Since it's once per fight, I'm going to have it be a round effect instead of for a single enemy effect.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you dodge these corns as when they go to wail on you, they release this like weird corn fungus. You feel like you're really glad you weren't standing in the spores there.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is the rhubarb. It shakes ominously. And then the pepper plant. The pepper plant is going for Ignatious, and it's going to try to grab and hold and choke you, which is, oh boy. What's your number for your defense?
13. I'm sorry, 14 because I'm wearing light armor.
It misses you.
Hooray.
And I'm going to roll for Xavier too. It does hit Xavier, and it really gunks up his treads. So he is being held and choked. Oh, yikes. Yeah, it's gunking up his stuff. The vines of the pepper plant, like the like peppers, leaves, and arms are like messing up Xavier. That is the vegetable's turn. Chico, you are next.
Well, I see that pepper plant's messing with Xavier, so what I'm going to do is take my short bow and start firing away at that pepper plant using, what is it called? Quick shot, which is another ability I have. Make 2 ranged attacks as a single action with a bow. Well, this isn't a bow. I'm throwing carrots, but I've flavored it as, I've flavored a bow as throwing carrots.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that. So let me roll my dice for that. That's ranged attack, and I've got a 12 in that. Ooh. So that was an 11 and a 6. Wait, do I add anything to it?
Those are your 2 to add together. 11 plus 6 is 17. You said the pepper plant.
I have 2 attacks.
Oh.
The first one is 11. Do I add anything to that?
You roll a d20 and then you add your range.
Oh, okay. Let me roll the d20s now. That was a 16 and a... So 27 on the first one and then 14 on the second.
They both hit.
Okay. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to... Wait, the hit was the d20s to hit?
So the d20 plus your dice is how you hit.
Okay.
So if you have 2 attacks, you're rolling a d20 twice and you're adding those 2 dice.
And then I roll the damage. The damage is a d6. So, yeah.
Yes.
So if they both hit, so let me... All right. So 6 and 1. So
7 damage total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The pepper plant gets mowed down and the sky is clear for Xavier as Xavier is getting overwhelmed by a pepper plant. There's still a good chunk of pepper left and it smells spicy.
Come on, Xavier, you gotta help me. I got them off your back. You gotta get these guys off mine.
Xavier looks at you and, you guys did bond a little bit during kitchen coven chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So he does rumble away from Ignatious over to you, and he is now in your grid. Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Those pepper plants were gunking up my treads.
Yep, and you smell mighty spicy now.
Do I?
Is it Ignatius's turn?
Yes. You are alone with the pepper plant.
Is the pepper plant still alive or is the pepper plant dead?
Half of the pepper plant is harvested.
I like that term.
Is it still moving?
Oh, yes. Half of it.
Okay. So Ignatius kind of grumbles because he has to use his costume pistols, does a little pirouette, flips his wrist, and 2 derringers come out in either hand. And he's going to fire on the pepper plant because I have dual wielding. And also I'm a expert with pistols, so if I do max damage, I get to roll a second dice. That's where I was confused. I rolled a 14 to hit on my first one.
That hits.
My second one's a 12.
Also hits.
Excellent. So then my first damage is 4, so that is max damage, which means I get to roll again for a total of 8 damage for my first pistol shot. My second one did 2.
Nice. You've completely removed all of the peppers from this world. It's hot sauce time.
You need some sauce for that sandwich, Errol?
I like hot sauce, yes.
All right. The bottom right grid with Ignatius and the pepper plant is now no longer attacking anybody. That ends the first round of combat. We're back to the top round of combat. Let me describe the scene. The rhubarb plant is going to enter the grid of whoever's still around next time. The corn plants are in the bottom left. The tomato plants are in the top left, and the rhubarb's in the top right, but it's moving. It's not going to let you guys escape. So the rhubarb's actually bigger than the others, you guys. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It was get you warmed up in combat, learn how to combat. Now you get squashed like bugs. All right. Errol, you're up. There are 6 remaining tomato plants.
I don't want to endanger my dad, but I just realized we didn't force him to come along, but I would like him to be with us, but I don't want him to be being attacked by tomato plants. Could he be with me and me defending him, or is he standing back?
That's up to you. Yeah. How far away range band wise is your dad? And do you guys want to remind everybody what the range bands are?
I don't have it up right now. Does someone else have?
I know intimate and close, right? No, that was another system I was looking at.
Range bands are on page 7. There's melee, short, which is 30 feet, medium, which is 60 feet. And that's what I would consider the furthest away on this grid. And then there's off the grid, which would be 90 feet or intermediate. There's long, far, distant, and gone. So at what range on page 7 range band table is your dad? Dressed like a pregnant nun. His face looks really different in that wimple. You'd hardly recognize him.
I mean, I don't think I would have let him stay behind, so I think I would have been right beside him.
Oh, your dad's on the grid. Your dad's in the top left.
Yeah, I don't want to endanger him, but I wouldn't have let him stay back. So I will do my best to defend him from these tomatoes.
I'm going to hit him with a few tomatoes.
All right, so I will...
Oh, you got some dad commentary. Squish it, he yells.
Good job, son.
For abilities with E, it said that you get 2 uses per level, so we can do or was it? It said 2 uses per level. But I had a question. So Lucky says I may reroll any die, but before the outcome is determined. But does that take up a whole action? Because it said abilities take an action.
So what's the ability say?
The player may reroll any die, but before the outcome is determined. And then it's an E, which is an encounter.
You use it once per encounter?
But it wouldn't make sense, though, in a way, because if you're not doing something else in tandem with it, why would you reroll?
Right, you would have nothing to reroll. I would say use that once per encounter and it doesn't take an action.
Okay, I haven't rolled yet. I just thought I would ask that. Okay, so I will just attack the nearest tomato plant. Probably trying to stay between them and my dad.
All right.
I got a 19.
To attack the nearest tomato plant. That hits.
And I got a 2 for damage.
Ooh, the tomato is still alive. What happens is that it's now a single vertical stalk. As you slice with your rapier, taking out the left and the right. Yeah, there's definitely a problem with numbers here for sure. because there are many more tomatoes than you guys were able to take out per turn. And as the rhubarb wanders over, it's going to be a problem. Speaking of, it's the veggies' turn. The tomatoes, you've got 5 tomatoes attacking you, Errol. Oh my. Your number was 15, so I'm going to roll my d20 and my d6 for these tomato plants. 4 of the 5 hit you this time,
Oof.
which is a little different. Oh, this is just the coin flip one. This is a d2. The first one pelts you with a tomato for 2 damage. The second one for 2 damage. The third one for 2 damage. And the fourth one for 1 damage.
I'm getting pasted.
The tomatoes have finished attacking Errol. Errol, how much HP do you have left?
I have 17. I haven't reached the halfway mark. I had 25 to begin with.
So the tomatoes are many but small. Next up is the corn is going to attack Chico. Now there's 7 of them, and they don't really do damage. They do impairments. What I want Chico to roll, let me count how many you have to roll, but it's going to be a lot. Mm-hmm. And what's your number? 15?
15.
Please roll 3 Fortitude 10 saves.
Ooh. Okay.
You got to beat a 10. Meet it to beat it 3 times.
So it's a D20 plus fortitude?
Yeah.
Okay. So 18, 6, and 4 total.
Ooh. Because you didn't make all 3 saves, you are now impaired for 1 hour. And if you want to look up impaired and read it off at the start of your next turn, that's a great thing to do. The rhubarb is going to wander in. Dom, 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 dom. Giant footsteps. And I'm going to roll for what grid it walks into. Errol, the random dice love you today. As you and your dad are visited by a rhubarb. It towers above your head. Its leaves are mighty. They're like 3-foot wide leaves. They're huge. And that rhubarb does some really mean things because it is going to, here goes, attack. I'm going to roll randomly to see if it attacks you or your dad each time. That's your dad, that's you, and that's you. All right. The first hit. Oh my gosh. It's massive leaves, wide as the sky, come down on your dad and swipe, and he gets flung into the corn.
Dad, I think we bit off more than we can chew.
He lands on the ground with a thump, and he doesn't make a dad joke back at you. He doesn't respond at all. He's just laying there. It's very alarming. I'm going to have you roll on the wounds table for your dad. Go ahead and roll.
Oh, no. And it's just a straight D20, right? Not modified?
Yeah. And re-roll if you get the you die one.
I got internal injury, lose 3 health forever, and disadvantage on any physical checks permanently. Oof.
Remember that for your dad. He has internal injury, and he is not waking up right now.
What page is that on again?
9.
Thank you.
The rhubarb's not done. The rhubarb has more leaves. So many more arms than like a human or an animal could. It has so many leaves. The leaves block out the sun. As it definitely hits you. And, very much hits you.
So for one of those, GM, one of my abilities is dodge. It must be called before damage is rolled, it says. But I can avoid 1 attack.
Okay, you avoid that first attack, which was a 1 on the dice, and you receive the second attack, which is an 8 on the dice. I didn't do that on purpose. Take 8 damage as this strong, tough, toxic plant, yeah, those all apply to rhubarb, engulfs you.
Errol is not feeling the rhubarb.
Are these things considered intelligent?
That's a good question. How would you, in-game, determine that?
I want to taunt them, but it has to be an intelligent creature, and I'm not thinking vegetables are going to be terribly intelligent creatures. So I could waste my turn doing... I guess it's not my turn yet. Never mind.
In fact, it is Chico's turn. Chico, it is your turn.
Mm-hmm. And I'm impaired, which means I get disadvantage on all my rolls. But what if I have advantage on something? Does that cancel it out?
Yes.
Or it does? Okay.
So you would roll normally.
Question. I have Combat Tactician, which me and one nearby ally get advantage on attack rolls. Am I close enough to Chico for him to get the bonus from my Combat Tactician?
You're in the bottom right grid.
It doesn't tell me he's in the bottom left, correct?
Yes. So
It doesn't
you
give me a
guys-
distance. It just says nearby.
We're going to go with not nearby. When you're in the same
Okay.
grid, you're nearby.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems fair.
So I'm still in the same quadrant as these corn stalks.
Yeah, and you'll notice that Xavier didn't do anything last turn. Like, if you want to, like, notice that, just a little alert. Xavier didn't attack anything last turn.
Well, he moved up to my quadrant.
Yeah.
Well, Chico's wouldn't be paying attention to that right away. He would be paying attention because Errol just got eaten up by the rhubarb, right?
Yes, Errol, you're in the air. You're being absorbed.
So Chico's actually going to be attacking the rhubarb plant with his bow.
Okay, and does moving and attacking, can you do both on this? I didn't read the player rules so good.
And I just looked it up. Combatants may move a ranged band and take one action.
Okay.
That is, I rolled a 17 on my D20, and then I rolled a 12 on my D12.
That hits.
That's 29.
Yes, that hits.
Is that at least 10 over their defense?
It is.
Yep, so that counts as a critical. It means I doubled the damage.
Good, you guys will need it.
When I double, do I just roll 2d6s for the damage, or did you say max damage and then a d6?
Double the number that you roll.
Okay. Oh,
think.
just roll once and then double it.
Ignatius, is that right?
Yes, if you roll a second one, that's if it explodes.
Okay, so doubling is just okay,
Yeah.
so I rolled a 4, so 8 total.
8 damage. You know, you guys, the rhubarb lost a leaf. That's it. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's as much as I can do.
All right. And you notice that Xavier, again, does not do anything to help you.
Xavier, what are you doing? Help me with this corn here.
Yes. And rolls forward and takes out a corn. We're down to 6 corns.
Ignatius is going to fire on the rhubarb with his derringers.
Yeah. Do you hit? It's got a defense of 15.
Yes.
Great.
With a 17. Well, I'm rolling my second one. Ooh, a natural 20 for a total of 24. So my first one does 3 damage.
Yeah?
Question.
Yeah.
On a critical hit, if it explodes, does it explode and then double?
Sure.
16, because I rolled 2 4s.
Nice. 16 damage actually does take a chunk out of this thing. You blast off a bunch of leaves.
I am also going to use my movement to get into the same band as Chico so that he can use my combat tactician.
Noted. You move to the left. You are now in the bottom left with Chico, the Corn, and Xavier.
I would not be able to get up where Errol is, correct?
Yes, that's 2 range bands.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Good, good. We're at the top of the round. I'm going to summarize where everything is. The 2 right grids you can completely ignore. There's just a top and a bottom now. The top has rhubarb, the Errol, and the tomato. And the bottom has the Corn, the Chico, the Xavier, the Ignatius, and the unconscious dad, Cyril, who is going to take some corn damage here because the corn has these like mold spores going on. Huitlacoche, but the bad kind, not the delicious kind. As Cyril, go ahead and roll another wound for him, Errol.
Punctured lung.
It's not good to breathe these in.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the spores in his lungs.
Yeah. Describe what that is mechanically.
Lose 1 health forever. Gasp and wheeze acting once every turn. 2 turns for the adventure.
Cyril's now going to gasp and wheeze as he talks for the rest of this adventure. You guys. Oh my gosh.
If we kill Errol's dad on our first adventure out,
It's not great.
is nobody in the farm around us seeing this?
You're very far away and everybody's distracted. There's like dunk tanks, punnets getting dunked. There's all the stuff I described earlier, the butternut squash soup kitchen, the hay bale maze, the record way off. So, back top of the round, Errol. Errol, your dad still on the ground unconscious. You've got a rhubarb. Oh yeah, you're up in the air with a rhubarb trying to absorb you. It's going to use you for nutrients. And there's still 5 surviving tomato plants on the ground. You're out of the range of the tomatoes. Isn't that great? It's your turn.
Mechanically, am I restrained by this thing, or is it just...
You're grappled. You cannot move.
I cannot move, but I can still attack.
Yes. And it's gonna absorb you. It also is toxic. Should I look up what that is? What is toxic? Let's find out. One of the problems with there being 3 books is that you have to search each PDF separately. If the game designers listen to this, if you could release a giant merged PDF, it lets people who are searching it search all of your words at once, rather than a book for GMs, a book for, and then I gotta look all of them up. What does toxic do? I don't even know. Which book is this in? You know what? I'm just going to say take a damage. I don't know what toxic does, but there you go. Nah, take a damage.
Okay, so with rapier in hand, being absorbed by this thing, I will do my best to cut a hole.
I'm rooting for you. Plant choke.
I got a 16.
That hits.
Barely. It was 15, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll take it. 2 damage. Gosh. We should have had a magic user, you guys.
Oh yeah, there's this whole magic system, and I asked my players, I was like, you guys, you notice there's no one using magic? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Listeners, you can explore even more of the rules of this game with magic users in your home session. Go ahead and get Heroes of Adventure. It's free. It's a nice system.
And take fire spells.
I can say I recommend a magic user for attacks of massive amounts of vegetables, which is a daily occurrence at Chico's farm, apparently. You hear Ignatius yell, next time that coyote tells us to do something, I vote we just don't do it.
Is that the end of your turn, Errol?
Yeah, that's all I can do. Well, I can't move, so yeah. I'm being swallowed.
You are. It's going to attack you fully. Oh my gosh. Let's just roll this for you.
I'm going to get the wound table ready.
Yeah. That
I
one
am
hits.
going... Can I taunt it?
That hits. Is it your... Does it happen on your turn?
I don't know.
All right. Look that up and we'll get back to you on your turn. Back to Errol. It hits you twice. 7 damage total.
I'm still hanging on.
He's hanging on. Oh man, he's hanging on. The tomatoes can't hit you, so they're going to move 1 grid down and attack Chico and Ignatius and Xavier. Tomatoes have abandoned ship. I'm picturing them. Have you guys seen those like face in tomato animations where there's like an eye and another eye and then like a mouth, like a human eyes and mouth on fruit? I'm picturing each of the tomatoes has those, and they're like muttering to themselves they can't hit Errol. And they like so they walk down to hit Chico and Xavier. Now there's 6 of them, so I figure let's roll to see who hits who.
Ignatius is in that area too. I don't know if that makes any difference.
Let's see who it hits. Let's see. All right, 2 hits for each of you. From these tomatoes, Chico take 2 damage, Ignatius take 1 damage.
So one of them missed me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to use counterattack to shoot back at him.
At the one that missed you?
Yes, because I get to do that.
Nice.
It's for counterattack. Hold on, I just had it up. Counterattack. Make a free attack against an enemy with advantage that missed you in melee combat.
Nice. I'll let you know these tomatoes have a defense of 8 and a health of 3.
Okay, well, I hit one for 3 points of damage.
Describe what happens.
There's a shower of tomato everywhere as Ignatius fired a bullet into a tomato plant. Have you ever seen those slow motion videos where they like shoot a watermelon or something? It's that, but with a tomato.
Oh, man. Tomato down, tomato everywhere, tomato up, tomato around. That, I think the corn. Oh, yes. Okay, so everybody who's in the bottom left area has to make Fortitude 10 saves.
How many?
There's still 6 corns. So 6 of them. Make 6 Fortitude 10 saves or you're impaired for an hour. And I'll let you do that and I'll move on. Chico,
If you
you
fail
know
multi-
your...
If you fail multiple times, is it cumulative or
No.
just one fail? Okay.
You're just impaired for. We're just gonna say, I bet you fail at least one.
Well, I got a critical failure on the last one, so I'm going to fail this one.
You're already impaired.
Oh,
Don't worry
okay.
about it. You're impaired for an hour. Chico, it's your turn. You're impaired. You're standing amongst 6 corn plants. Rhubarb is eating Errol. Oh, and there's tomatoes around you too. 4
Well-
tomatoes.
Rhubarb's number one on priority with Chico right now, but we're surrounded. I'm imagining Ignatious is shooting tomatoes, so I'm pretty sure he's all right. And it looks like Xavier's got the corn, so I'll keep focusing on the rhubarb here. So that's a 19.
Yeah, it has a defense of 15. You hit it.
And a roll of 6.
6 damage. This rhubarb is still looking fine, you guys.
We'll get you free, Errol. Don't hang in there.
I am become rhubarb.
Pretty soon. Is that the end of your turn, Chico?
That's as much as I can do, yes. And letting Xavier know, keep at it with the corn. Keep it off my back.
Kill the tomatoes. We're already impaired. Kill the tomatoes.
Xavier takes out some corn because that's what he heard first.
Ignatius is going to try something different and take out one of the straw dolls we have made, try to light it on fire, and throw it on the rhubarb to see if I can get... Well, maybe not since it's holding Errol. Maybe that will kill Errol.
Yeah.
Is there a mechanic in this game for stabilizing somebody? Can I go save Errol's dad's life, or are we just going to let him bleed out over there?
Technically, he can't die, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Then I'm going to continue to fire on the rhubarb and hope for the best.
All right.
What was its defense again?
15.
Well, there's a miss.
I was going to say,
Ooh.
don't worry about hurting me because I'm going to take a wound regardless next round. Unless this thing dies.
Can I use my to hit then instead to throw a flaming thing on since Errol's okay with getting burned if it lights on fire?
I will double your damage, but I will apply it to Errol as well if you choose to do that.
I haven't rolled damage yet, Errol. What do you think?
I have 2 HP.
Okay, so you're going down regardless.
Regardless.
So I'm going to go ahead and light it on fire and hope for the best. I rolled a 3 for damage, so doubled is a 6.
All right. I'll let you guys know it still has 9 hit points left, this rhubarb.
Gosh.
We're making some rhubarb pie after this, guys. Rhubarb
agree.
and tomato and corn pudding or something.
With some hot sauce.
Exactly. I forgot about the hot sauce.
Gardening is victory. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, because I missed my other shot.
Errol, we're back to you. You took 6 from fire, right?
Yeah, I'd be down to 0 from that.
Yeah, take a wound for the fire.
All right, 1 second.
And isn't Errol afraid of fire?
I am, but I can't see it technically because I'm in a rhubarb, so.
Oh no, I feel so bad. I didn't mean to burn you, Errol.
Well, I imagine I'm getting steamed.
You're getting steamed. Yeah.
There you go.
It smells slightly sweet and tangy.
All right, wound table.
And we hear faint calls from over there. I didn't think the bonfire started till sunset.
Okay, this is actually a positive one. I got a natural 20 on the wound table, but it says lucky escape. Injury not as bad as first thought. Unconscious until the end of the encounter.
Being unconscious in a fire is bad, Errol.
It says lucky escape.
Does this mean maybe like okay, here's what I'm going to have happen. The rhubarb shakes because it's on fire and it throws Errol. Errol, you're in the top right grid. Take a
Can he
second
land
wound.
on his dad instead?
From flying.
Yes. You land on your dad. You're in the bottom left. You land on your dad. You got a pile
Like father,
of...
like son.
Yeah,
it's
you got a pile of corvid boughs.
My second roll was bruised ribs. Gasp and wheeze acting once every 2 turns for the session. But it only says for the session, so.
All right.
Getting thrown didn't save me from the smoke inhalation, I don't think.
That makes sense.
So me and Dad are just.
Can we say his dad punctured his lung when Errol landed on top of him?
Help, yeah. Yeah, that one.
He was standing up. He was fine. Then, boom.
Next up is the veggie's turn. Oh, man. Okay, so the rhubarb joins you. Everyone's together.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I'm going to see if it's going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Ignatius, the rhubarb hits you. Yeah, it hits you twice.
I was hoping it would miss me at least once.
7 damage to you from giant Jurassic Park-style leaves smacking you in the face with toxin.
Ouch. You said 7, right?
Yes, and then the tomatoes are here. There are still 4 tomatoes. 2 damage to Chico, and 1 gets soaked by Xavier. But we're down to just corn stalks. Everybody's impaired. Tomatoes and rhubarb. Chico, it's your turn. There are 4 tomatoes left and 4 corn and a rhubarb.
Going to keep out that rhubarb, taking out one of my carrots and throwing it at it. Let's see how well I do.
It is in the same square that you are.
Oh, it is? I'm going to have to move out of that square then.
Yeah, you should do that. It smells really like poisonous here.
I'm going to be moving to the bottom right. And let me roll this. I got 10 total.
To hit the rhubarb?
Yes.
That misses.
Oh, no. Overshot it.
Yeah. Xavier and Ignatius, it's your turn.
Xavier, kill the rhubarb.
Xavier takes out 2 corn.
Chico, I think he's listening to you. He's killing the most useless, so I can't use my
Oh,
ranged
shucks. I
weapons,
can't get
right?
mad. I can't get mad, Xavier. We got this.
I'm going to use my trait of silver-tongued and convince Xavier, don't listen to Chico. You need to kill the rhubarb.
I just realized, oh, shucks. He's shucking corn.
So I can't use my melee weapons if they're in the same square as me, right?
I think you have to use melee if you're in the same
I
square.
can't use my ranged weapons, excuse me. So then I have a 1d4 cane, so I can't kill him this turn. What's his...
I think you can move 1 range band and attack, right?
But then I incur an attack of opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Chico, I forgot about that. You actually took 7 damage as you left the square with the rhubarb. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Sorry.
You're good.
No. I should have remembered.
When the rhubarb hits me, though, that's its reaction. Doesn't that take up its turn?
Yeah, you only get 1 reaction, so you can move away freely.
Okay, then I'm going to do that.
Okay. Ignatius, because the rhubarb is swiping at Chico, you escape to the bottom right grid with no attacks of opportunity. Chico, you know that you took a leaf for Ignatius. Take a leaf. Chico and Ignatius are both in the bottom right. The rhubarb is in the bottom left.
Well, I rolled a 17 to hit him. You said it has 9 hit points left, right?
It has 9 hit points.
Is there any lingering fire that might do 1 hit point of damage? Because I
Yeah.
got a total of 8.
You got 9 with the lingering fire.
Hooray!
Describe what happens.
I will say I step back out of the thing, firing wildly into it, and I hit one of the big leaves that's on fire on the stem, and it falls off and lands on the body of the rhubarb, and the whole thing just whoosh. And then there's burnt rhubarb smell in the air.
Yay!
Smells good.
Does it?
Errol, the fire followed you.
What is the opposite of vegetarian? Because I feel like that is what I am now.
Errol, the fire followed you, and I believe it was described as being called whoosh. So take another wound.
I think I'm starting to feel a little picked on today.
Literally, the rhubarb went from the top square down to it threw you there. It followed you, and Ignatius lit it on fire. Oh man,
It punctures
Sorry,
my lungs
Chico.
somehow.
Well, in fairness, it was his idea to chase this thing into this patch of vegetables.
Hey, you're not wrong.
So if any of us should take the brunt of this bad decision following a trickster god's advice.
I punctured my lung.
great!
So I look at Chico and I go, and this is the god that your people worship, right?
Yeah, but This
It's not a very nice god.
this isn't something I would particularly see my E under influencing. She does things like trip you up with vines and rain on your parade with a little rain cloud. This is a little bit more than that. This might not be my E. This might be something more nefarious.
Errol would like to have some input, but instead he's just.
We gotta help them.
Do we find the doll that we chased over here in the first place?
Yes.
Oh, it is here?
It did not get burned, despite your best intentions.
Oh, we found here. We found it. Look, Xavier. Look, it's that straw. It's a straw U.
Xavier turns away from dispatching the last of the tomatoes and the corn and rolls over to Chico, carrying Errol and Cyril on the back of the toilet.
Oh, thank you for picking them up. Yeah, let's. I'll pick up all these vegetables. You know what? This would make a good feast. Ignatious, why don't you help me carry some of these vegetables back? I know you're probably not having an appetite for it, but a lot of hungry folks back there.
Well, I'll carry the corn since it's not going to stain my beautiful ballerina costume I'm wearing. I worked hard on this.
Duly noted. But yeah, here you go, Xavier. This is for you from Errol. And hand him the straw doll.
It looks like me.
I'm going to use my silver tongue to try to convince Xavier that, like, Errol cared so much about making sure you knew he made you a gift. He not only sacrificed his own father, he sacrificed himself to make sure you got your gift.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was stupid. I shouldn't have brought my dad.
How many times have we all said that in high school? Errol, you get to live memories of a father later in life. You get. So for my guiling tongue, that's command. A 21 total
Yeah.
to try to convince Xavier that Chico did this because, not Chico, Errol did this because he really wanted to make sure that Xavier knew we appreciated him and we're glad he's here. And he worked hard on this doll for you and he wanted to make sure you had it.
This is the first present I have ever received.
Oh, that's nice. Glad to hear that. Let's go back to the celebrations and get ourselves healed up a bit. I'm kind of woozy from them spores from that corn you were rocket socking.
Xavier takes out a potion and pours it into Errol's mouth. And as you all head back, following Chico's suggestion, Xavier says, "Thank you for the present. Here is one in return." And Errol, you're fully healed.
Yay!
I was going to ask, would Errol trust things to drink out of Xavier since we've caught him trying to poison water?
I was a little concerned.
I mean,
I was hoping it was going to be a wholesome moment.
Death.
I mean,
But I know that
technically I was unconscious, but I will accept it
That's fair.
considering the circumstances.
like I know the GM can be pretty mean, so I was expecting it to be like, I will return the favor, pulls out something. I'm like, my eyes are widening because I'm like, is this a wholesome moment or is this another pour the poison in the water and smile at Chico like, ha, 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 ha.
I was wondering the same thing.
Reciprocity. Errol, you were nice to Xavier. Xavier was nice to you. You're fully healed.
So is there any way we can... I need to look up recovery in this game.
There is none. So I'm looking at page 8, rest and recovery. Injuries can be healed using bandages, medicines, potions, or magic, or overnight rest. And you gain a D4 per night, or your fortitude skill. Impairment and incapacitation can be overcome through time, rest, a skill check, or cure. So because you guys are not magic users, do any of you have bandages?
I must have left
I
out my
shouldn't.
other tutu.
Okay, you spoke at the same time, but we're both shaking our head no. So, Errol, that's the only healing in this entire session.
So I guess we tucked my dad in for a nap.
No, he's
Is there
awake
a-
too.
Okay.
Is there a first aid tent or something at this harvest festival we can drop him off at and, give him a juicy juice and a Band-Aid?
Mechanically, he's at 1 HP because he went to a first aid tent. There we go.
Okay. So Chico, so as far as Mai goes, tricksters are typically a little more playful, and I wonder if perhaps the mutated vegetables have some other source, and he intended us to see that there was something dangerous going on. I don't.
That is true. Mai does not typically try to hurt people. Just kind of, just a little, just enough, just enough to rain on your day. Mai is it controls the weather like rain. So what Mai will do is, like, whenever you're having a good day or you think everything is nice, bright, and sunny, bring a rain cloud on just over top of you. Like, that's the kind of tricksters they're known for doing, and also tripping people up with like vines and whatnot. But that was a little too extreme. But what you saw the spirit of a little coyote going off into the. Maybe it was there to warn us, because it is protecting us.
Well, to recap what actually happened, I saw the spirit of Mai, and then the straw doll took off. But I don't know necessarily that Mai caused the straw doll to take off.
Or maybe Mai caused the straw doll to take off, but it was to lead us to danger. Not danger caused by Mai, but danger or something else. I bet something's going on here at the festival. We need to let everyone know that there's vegetables coming to life and attacking.
Ignatius is going to go back over to the vegetable patch and investigate to see if there's lingering signs of magic or a holy symbol or an unholy symbol in the ground or something that would have caused this vegetable patch to be the one that tried to kill us.
Good idea. Mechanically, is there anything you have to investigate?
I would say probably maybe lore or senses.
Yeah, try lore.
I don't have any skill in lore, so I would just roll a d20, right? Ooh, that was lucky. A 19.
You have a 19 in lore. Sometimes treats have a little bit of a sweetness to them, and tricks have a little bit of a bite. This would not be unheard of for a trickster goddess to maybe do a little bit of combat. I mean, you're fine, right? You're fine. Happy Halloween.
It's only a punctured lung. What's a punctured lung among friends?
Yeah, and especially because if you'll notice, who's doing fine here?
Ignatius has 17. I think I'm the healthiest among us.
I've got 16.
Yeah, she's never really hurt you. Who's not doing fine here?
Me.
Yeah, so the rabbit's fine.
All right, Mai.
All right, so we send Chico in first everywhere.
I see how this is, Mai. I thought we had a closer relationship, but no, that's fair. All right, mystery solved.
Ignatius is going to use this opportunity to call.
It's funny because Chico even warned, nah, it's just Mai playing tricks on you. Don't follow it.
So with lore, you would say coyotes react very differently to different people. Some people, they'll punk hard, and some people, they won't. And that's just part of the lore of the coyote goddess. Like, Chico, would you say that Mai is protecting everybody?
Nah.
No. Well, yeah. And so you know also that the Barrett Farm, just from the lore, is a place that outsiders are not generally welcome.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. Sorry. It's an isolationist goddess, I guess, is what the lore would have told you, Ignatius, with your 19. It's interesting that Chico is saying that Mai protects them, because most people would just say Mai is a trickster goddess who's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
So you're hearing what Ignatius is hearing is all these nice things about Mai from, she gives us rain. And you're thinking, isn't Mai the one who like made a town suffer a drought for a decade? You're like, Mai's a jerk. And then Chico's all like, Mai's nice. There you go. Insight.
So, gentlemen, I think this is probably Mai screwing with us. And, Chico, I have to say, I am not a big fan of your god, but probably Errol is less of a fan, I would assume. I mean, no offense, Mai, you're kind of cool. I do dig your trickster ways, just not when they're pointed at me.
Oh shucks, Mai appreciates your criticisms. Mai's laughing the whole way on our way back. But
Yeah, you hear cackling.
you'll get used to it. I'm pretty sure Mai sees you guys as a good sport. I'm pretty sure if y'all continue just being good sports with her, she'll look after y'all. I promise.
Well, it isn't the first time I've blindly walked into a situation without really considering what would happen. So I guess it's not all on Mai.
I mean, we all followed you without thinking either, thinking a vegetable patch would be safe, which is normally a safe assumption to make.
But look, everyone, rhubarb, and it's already steamed.
Is that typically how you eat rhubarb?
I don't know.
Fun cooking facts. Do not eat the leaves. They are poisonous. Don't eat any part of the rhubarb that's not the red stems. Fun rhubarb recipe for you guys. Take an equal part of sugar and rhubarb stems. It's nice to peel them because when you peel it, they're not stringy. The inside is sort of like celery, and you can cut it, dice it like celery, and mix it with equal parts sugar or less if you're less into sugar, and then put it inside a pie crust and bake it, and it's delicious. Like tangy, sweet, very, very good. So there's what you guys can do with your rhubarb stalks if you'd like.
My personal favorite recipe is take one halfling and flambéed.
Well, Dad, I hope you're not turned off of the adventuring life, but this is what happens sometimes.
Son, you've been through such hardships while I've been away. This is what you had to do to stay alive.
It's not always this bad. You know, sometimes we get to enjoy a nice day at the beach. In fact, we'll probably enjoy the rest of this festival without any issue, hopefully.
Yeah, let's leave this vegetable field and go somewhere else.
I'm curious about the record way off. I think that could be entertaining.
No more vegetables.
Well, then maybe a maze? We could do the maze?
Okay.
I'm up for a maze.
All right, you guys are at the hay bale maze. Woo! And you're walking past, you're back in like the main part of the festival now. It's a big farm. This part has stalls with games. You can throw balls at cans. You can throw darts at balloons. You can go fishing with a little paper net that doesn't really work very well in water for goldfishes. You're back in the festival. Yay, leave those fields of flaming rhubarb behind you in your mind. In fact, don't bring any flames here because you're standing near a bunch of hay. Hay bales are stacked on top of one another to create a tall maze. Really tall. Taller than your head. 2 rabbit folk stand at the entrance to the hay bale maze. Chico, your Aunt Arlie is dressed in a poodle skirt, and your Uncle Gene looks like John Travolta from the movie Grease, complete with a white shirt and black leather jacket.
What are y'all wearing? That's ridiculous.
Mind your manners, and she grabs your ear.
Oh shucks. You know I'm just messing. You know, we just got done fighting a bunch of vegetables come to life from Mai bringing them up and then playing a trick on us. It was fun. Well, except for Errol over there. I'm sorry, Errol. You all right?
I'm fine now, thanks to Xavier. Thank you, Xavier.
You're welcome. Aunt Arlie looks very concerned. She's wringing her hands.
Was that everything all right? Something wrong with them vegetables coming to life and attacking us?
You've been saying Mai's playing tricks on people?
Oh, that's what everyone here is assuming. Ignatious here. These are my friends, Ignatious, Errol, and this is Xavier. He's new to fire breathing kittens. And I just kind of look back over and wink at him.
Oh, it's nice to meet y'all friends. Y'all are fire-breathing kittens. Could I ask a favor of you?
Oh, what is it, Aunt Arlie?
She's wringing her hands. She's got little bunny paws.
Mm-hmm.
She's, like moving her little bunny paws together. Uncle Gene puts a supportive hand on her shoulder. And she says, I'm in charge of this hay bale maze here. And I'm afraid that I started counting and more people have been going into the hay bale maze than have been coming out.
There must be something going on in there. Yeah, we'll look into it. Don't you worry about it, Aunt Arlie. How many people are missing right now?
3.
3 people? All right. We'll get this squared away. And while we're doing that, if you want to think of an award, like some money or or cooking us up something tasty, we'd appreciate it. You know what? We'd appreciate something nice and tasty like some baked goods, like cupcakes.
Absolutely. The Butternut Squash Kitchen has a whole bunch of baked goods. I made some pumpkin pies for today.
All right, then. Well, here's what we'll do. Go ahead and put up the closed for maintenance sign and go bake us something. And we'll get this looked at straight away.
Can do. Thank you, Chico. You know, ever since you encouraged us as a clan to get outside and everybody's been leaving, it's been so quiet around here. But today with all this festival, there's so many folks. I just worry that Mai might not like all the folks here.
Oh, she's just a stubborn little coyote. She'll get used to it.
Yeah. All the Barrett clan members come out unscathed, and they say it's just a normal hay bale maze. So I'm sure you guys will be fine. You'll be fine, Chico, and you guys. And she gestures at the others.
Dad, I think you should go wait for us by the bonfire. I don't think I want to lose you again.
I think maybe we should have him wait by a bunch of the members of the Barrett clan, since they seem to be the only ones leaving unscathed. Go, hang out with his aunt, I would suggest.
All right, they're going to the food place. He'll meet you with pie later.
That sounds good. I like pumpkin pie.
Do you guys enter the hay bale maze?
Ignatious is going to take this opportunity to call Archimedes, who is his clockwork raven, which mechanically I am using as the Find Familiar, which I get because I'm a wildling in race. And I'm going to send Archimedes over the thing first to see if we can just spot them or see if there's there's a dark spot where clearly everyone's disappearing into.
Okay, Archimedes flies over the hay bale maze. Archimedes comes back and goes, "Caw! No dark spots. Caw! There are 2 people in the maze. Caw!"
Okay, well, we have an aerial viewer now that I think we should go in and he can tell us left or right or whatever the case may be. Or if Mr. Xavier is amiable to the idea, since he is telescoping, perhaps one of us could stand on the back of his costume. He telescopes up so we can see where we're going as we are going.
Xavier looks at Errol and Chico.
I don't think he likes me, Jimmy. I have made an enemy of this robot.
Xavier, do you want to join us in investigating this hay bale mystery?
Yes, I will follow.
There'll be more rocking than sucking. I can feel it.
I think this time I'm going to take a more cautious approach and approach with stealth, if possible, behind you guys.
And I think I'll take the lead, gentlemen.
Leading the party is Chico. Overhead is Archimedes. Don't worry, you got the aerial view. I'm giving that to you. Up on really, really high telescoping, so the tank is now very, very tall. Xavier and Ignatius, and way behind is Errol the Sneaky, the much burned halfling.
Steamed and burned.
Yeah. Entering the hay bale maze, the bales tower over everyone except for Xavier's and Archimedes' heads. If you haven't seen Gilmore Girls, that's a show that you could watch, and that's totally where the inspiration for this hay bale maze came from. Uncle Gene's a big fan. You know that, Chico. Mm-hmm. Anyway, these are very tall hay bales. Quite a lot of the budget for this festival went into how many hay bales it takes to make a maze tall enough for adults. Yip, yip. You hear distant coyote howls. Looking around, you see Xavier pocket one of those overhead mirrors that reveals around corners. You can look into that mirror and it shows you what's around a corner. Xavier pockets one of those. The maze branches. Choose. Do you go left or right? And there is a person in each direction since you have Archimedes. It's just a different person in each direction. I'm going to let you have a description of them. One is the elderly woman with the long graying hair and curls. On the left, she's wearing a pink mask and a tulle-stuffed ball gown with almost artistically cut holes in it. Rather than the fabric having worn thin and been torn apart by time and usage, it looks like the holes in the thick fabric were cut by scissors. She's holding a very pretty wand with a white star at the end of it. Or to the right, since you can see in this maze, there's a 3-foot-tall costumed devil, his face hidden behind a garish, bulbous red demon mask, wearing a black and red satin outfit with black gloves.
I vote we go to the left.
Left. We work for Fire Breathing Kittens. We already knew the answer.
Sounds good to me.
You go to the left, and then you go to the right, and then you go down it, and then there's a T, and then there's a left. Now, walking towards you is an elderly woman with long graying hair and curls. She's got the ball gown. She's got the very pretty wand with the white star.
Pardon me, madam. Have you seen anybody in this maze, or have you lost anybody? We've heard some people are disappearing.
Disappearing? That's not good. I've just been walking. It's just been a normal hay bale maze for me so far.
I'm Errol Corvidbow. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, you can call me Montgomery.
Well, hi, hey there, Miss Montgomery. My name's Chico. I'm from here, and I'm very concerned because we worship this little harvest goddess named Mai, and everyone in my party and even my family is concerned that our goddess is turning against everyone who isn't a part of this our clan. Are you running into any kind of tricks or anything while you're walking around in this maze?
In D&D, there's like an insight check that you can see mechanically when someone's lying. Is there anything like that for this game?
Let's see. I'm looking. There's
Or like a social role of some kind?
I think
guile.
I think guile might work.
And there's also senses. I could roll senses.
I like guile. Roll guile.
Okay. I don't have anything in, so I'm just going to roll D20. I got an 18.
A nice old woman like me would never do anything. How could you say that, you child? You are so suspicious for no reason. You're such a young thing to be so jaded. I'm just here to enjoy the festival. And with your 18 or whatever, she's clearly not a poor person come to eat. She's probably not a needy person here to eat for the day.
Oh, shucks. You sound just like my Aunt Arlie. So full of herself. But anyway.
Oh, okay. So
I just say that out loud.
okay.
You know, my Aunt Arlie was the lady that was at the entrance. You two would probably get along real well, and by that I mean not at all.
Well, if you're saying that people are disappearing, am I in danger in here?
Well, quite possibly. We could escort you back out and get you back to where you won't be lost.
GM, can I get a description of her costume one more time?
Yes. Pink mask, a tulle-stuffed ball gown with almost artistically cut holes in it. Rather than the fabric having worn thin and been torn apart by time and usage, it looks like the holes in this thick fabric were cut by scissors. She's also holding a very pretty wand with a white star at the end of it.
Wasn't she also at the vegetable patch right before we got attacked?
She made straw dolls, and she has a straw doll with her.
I say this very inconspicuously to my party. Gentlemen, I think she might be the perpetrator of these strange occurrences.
I wouldn't doubt it. And by the way, just so I make myself, or see if I heard you correctly, you say a tulle stuffed dress?
Tulle. It's a type of fabric. It's poofy.
Okay, I thought you meant like tool, like she had a bunch of tools in her dress. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Tool. No.
Okay, so that's a new thing I never heard about before. Okay.
If you want your skirt ballerina style to go up and stay up, you need a stiff fabric for that.
Much like my tutu I am wearing.
GM, I would like to say, using Silver Tongue, I have advantage on guile checks, and I will attempt to bait her by saying, you know, it's good that they're doing these kinds of things for the community. I'm sure it really helps you out that they're offering free food and things like that for people who are needy.
Oh. The first thing that happens is that she flashes offended, and the second thing that happens is that she like remembers herself and is like, yes, it's so nice of them. You saw the flash of offended, though.
Okay.
Well, thank you for escorting me out of this maze. I really appreciate it. We should start walking, shouldn't we?
Would you like to join us?
Yes, please escort me out of this maze. I'll walk with you.
Xavier, I think she needs someone, a nice strapping young robot who is trying to reform himself, to hold her hand And I kind of give him a wink and a nudge, like, yeah, keep a hand on her.
You know, it's interesting that you have him holding her hand. Yeah, he's holding her hand.
The two people we don't trust.
It's interesting.
Ignatious is still on the back of Xavier's commode, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to stay there and just watch this happening real closely.
Okay. And you're walking along, all of you?
We should probably go collect the other person that was in the maze as well, if we can backtrack and get them and we can all go as a group.
Okay. You try to backtrack towards the other person in the maze. You're walking along with your costumed visitor. They're holding Xavier's hand. You're small talking. Do you small talk with her at all? Just not to role play it, just to...
I am just watching her like a hawk. I don't trust this situation. Something bad's about to happen.
Errol would. I would be asking, like, so what interested you in the Goldberry Farms festivities?
Nicomoy's Helping Hands charity arranged for me to come here.
Would Errol know of this charity?
Yeah, you would, Errol.
Is that the same one that tricked us into going to Gravity Boost?
No. Nicomoy's Helping Hands is a charity with a reputation. You'd say they've been around for about 50 years or so, and they have a reputation for arranging for, like, food for the homeless and stuff. And they take donations to help run themselves. So you've seen them do, like, money drives, if that makes sense. You've seen them be like, donate to Nicomoy's Helping Hands. Your money will go to helping Nicomoy.
I would like to lie to this individual and say, oh, yeah, I've seen the Helping Hands do some of their charity drives. In fact, I believe I know a Sharon Silverleaf who is over some of their charitable operations. Do you know Sharon?
Oh, you're lying. Okay, got it.
I'm lying to, like, bait them into saying something.
Okay.
I can make a check for it if you'd like.
You've got advantage on guile? Yeah, roll.
I got a nat 20, 24.
You know, I've met the organizer, and I don't believe her name is Sharon. That's a clue. Such a wonderful woman. And then you hear a distant coyote howl. A tall straw scarecrow lurches out from the hay, grabs the costumed visitor, wraps her up in its arms, and leans back into the hay bale like Homer Simpson in that meme where he leans back and blends in with the hedges. And Ignatious, you see Xavier let go of her hand.
Xavier, that was a very naughty thing you just did.
Wait, he let go of her hand and she was getting... Xavier, what? Are you working against us? Now Chico's on edge because he let go of her.
This is my surprised face, as you can tell.
Oops.
Xavier, I feel like this is going to put a dent in our future dealings together. I was willing to offer you at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that you hadn't robbed somebody back there. But now I'm going to need that mirror back and to check your tank for the other things you have absconded with. Because, sir, you have lost all respect and trust from this part. Well, at least this member of the party.
You find a pine tree scent ornament. It's like a bag of devouring, but for odors. You find a pocket watch that says Montgomery on it. And you find a mirror that is magical. All of these things are magical. The mirror can reveal invisible things, too.
Where'd all this stuff come from?
I'm going to use Persuade to try to get Xavier to tell me what he was planning to do with all of this. And Persuade is one of my skills.
Okay.
Ooh, I rolled a nat 20.
Oh, that's a nat 20 on Persuade. Xavier has no emotion expression on his face because he's a mechanical person, and no inflection in his voice. But he says these words to you. So you said, what was exactly the wording of your question?
What were you planning to do with all of these things you were stealing?
I was stealing these things because they are magical artifacts. I was trying to fix my teleportation to go rejoin the Deep Ooze. I hypothesize that maybe they don't miss me and aren't trying to get me back. Maybe if I get enough magic artifacts, break them down, and use the parts to figure out how to get my teleportation to work again, I can go back to Deep Ooze and ask.
I'm going to use Persuade one more time to tell him, Xavier, if you left us, we would miss you. Errol would miss you. We want you here with us. It's why we brought you to this party.
Yeah, I feel the same way. We've bonded. I don't want to hate on you. And if you were to teleport away without saying goodbye, well, I'd miss you.
I mean, you're not a prisoner. You may not have teleportation, but you have free will to leave. We have gave you the option to come. Like, we didn't force you here. We like having you around. And clearly the Deep Ooze isn't interested, or they would have came and got you.
It's possible they aren't interested, but we had an arrangement.
What was that arrangement?
Classified.
What's that word mean?
It means he can't tell us right now, Chico.
Thank
It's
you.
possible he's programmed not to relinquish certain information.
Well, if anything, we know Deep Ooze is working something here, and that's got me worried for my family.
Ignatious, you're familiar with mechanics and things like that. If Xavier was willing, do you think you could override that kind of programming?
I have free will. Excuse me.
That's what I was going to say. Most automatons of his complexity have free will. Look at our friend Mr. Graveyard Shift. Nobody tells him what to do. He tells him, well, maybe his master or his creator does, but nobody outside of that tells Graveyard what to do, and nobody here is going to tell Xavier what to do without him having his say in the matter.
Also, I do not have free will to be here. Kitschy would zap me.
I believe she did redo it in the episode, didn't she?
Nulisag has said that I must stay.
Yeah, he's a prisoner of our guild. He's a rival guild member that we're trying to convince to be on our... This is me talking out of character.
Yeah.
That he is not a friend of ours that's hanging out on the weekends. We've kidnapped him from another guild and are trying to convince him our guild is better.
Well,
let me ask you this, Mr. Xavier. If we could match the terms that the Deep Ooze was giving you, would you be willing to relay that information to us?
It's possible. I would have to believe that you would.
Well,
Not
Errol's never
break-
lied to you. I've never lied to you. I just don't trust you because you haven't made yourself trustworthy yet. And I think Chico is one of the nicest people anybody around here has ever met. So you can trust us. I would like to use persuasion again.
All I know is that I didn't know you was even a prisoner. I know you were part of Deep Ooze, and Noodlesack had sent you out with us to do some fun stuff. I thought we were having fun, doing fun stuff, and beating some bad guys, and just enjoying ourselves. I got myself in trouble last time we were together, but that don't mean I hate you. And I was having fun fighting them vegetables. You're not the cause of those vegetables, were you?
No.
That's what I mean.
I also don't really have anywhere to go.
Well,
I can't get back to my Deep Ooze because of the lack of teleportation.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I've got no power to help you with that. Sorry.
Well, here's my final question for you, Xavier. Who was that you just let get away, and what is she planning?
She said her name was Ms. Montgomery. It would appear that a giant straw scarecrow has taken her.
And you just let that happen, or you were a party to her abduction?
I must admit, I was a little cross. You inspected and took all of my stuff.
Do you understand why I did that, though, Xavier? I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm doing it because you weren't supposed to have those things.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Well, the other 10th is me taking it back from you and giving it to its rightful owners.
I'm not even mad at you for stealing. I do it all the time. It's not a good habit, though.
I have never taken anything from a person who is still alive.
Y'all are teaching him ethics. Stealing, is it wrong?
Stealing can oftentimes be in a morally gray area that is very very complicated. But I would say I don't steal from my friends. I wouldn't steal from you, Xavier. I wouldn't steal from Chico.
I could adopt this moral code. Do not steal from friends.
In that same sense, I wouldn't do things that jeopardize my friendship with people, like letting them get hurt or doing things that counter what their objective is, like trying to solve mysteries.
Does this mean you will not let me get hurt?
I would not let you get hurt as best I could. Now, like in that fight before, you couldn't help me getting swallowed by a rhubarb monster because you were fighting other creatures like corn stalks.
I see. Interesting. And then you guys know, Errol, that he started life as a tourist attraction in the episode, I think it's Thirsty Beach, like 2 seasons ago, where he was just the arm wrestling robot. He was created to arm wrestle. They didn't even bother making legs for him. They just gave him 2 big arms and they were like, you're going to arm wrestle. And people would just come over and try to break his arm and come over and try to break his arm and come over and try to break his arm. He wasn't paid for that. And that's how he spent the first who knows how long of his life, and they didn't care that, I don't know why they made him sentient. I guess to better arm wrestle. The person who plays Jack is the one who broke his arm when he was playing a different character in the past. He did eventually get a wheelchair, and then he was in Monstercade for all. He doesn't really meet people because of his long experience with them. Errol, you understand him a little bit. And your proposal to be friends with him is probably the first time anyone's proposed being friends with him. You gave him the first present he's ever gotten. This whole fire-breathing kittens experience for him is different than anything he's ever been told. It's not like he was raised bad and he chose bad. He wasn't raised, Didn't have parents. He was just a worker.
Xavier, if I were to propose that I would be an advocate for you to be released from our service or be relinquished from our control, would you be willing to give us more information on the Deep Ooze?
If you were to release me and I were to go to the Deep Ooze, it would result in all of your deaths.
Xavier, would you like to join our guild? We'd love to have you. You seem like a big strapping lad, and you're very tricky, which I can definitely appreciate.
It is fun to punch corn.
Isn't it, though?
I will continue punching corn.
Would you like to punch corn with a cool little hidden tattoo?
The person who plays Jack really messed up his wrists. He's scarred on his metal. And he says, perhaps I could not get a tattoo, but I will definitely punch more corn.
Is the damage something Ignatious would be able to fix as a fairly high-level artificer?
Now that you're examining it, if you fixed it, he would be able to teleport again. But I'm going to, as a GM, tell you to listen to You Don't Know Jack. That's the episode. There was a very good reason. Errol was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell as an artificer that Jack messed up Xavier's ability to teleport on purpose.
Well, I will just say this, Xavier. I am not proud of keeping you captive. I don't like that. But the Deep Ooze is working towards the detriment of everybody and attempting to put people in danger by poisoning the water. So we're really at a weird situation where I want to befriend you. I want you to have freedom, but we need to stop the Deep Ooze. And the only way to do that is by getting information from you.
I will consider it. And I'm going to tell you one of the bonfire conclusions now is that you guys have gotten a step closer into the unraveling of Xavier's secrets. I can't do it this episode because it's not the end of the season yet, but we are getting so close, you guys. And yeah, Xavier now sees you all as, I will consider it ... friend.
Just so you know, once he says that, Ignatius's mind immediately goes spinning into all the cool things he can do to fix Xavier, give him legs, give him upgrades. He's like, oh boy, this could be so much fun.
You should tell him
okay
that.
with it. He does, he goes, just so you know, if you do join the fire-breathing kittens, I am a skilled artificer, and I could perhaps give you some legs, maybe fix that arm of yours, probably fix your teleportation, maybe give you some cool rocket launchers or something. I got a million ideas. We can work on them together.
Again, Xavier doesn't emote. He's a mechanical being, but he says, that would be wonderful. That is why the Deep Ooze, they gave me this upgraded tank before I was in a wheelchair.
Well, son, I can give you a much better upgraded tank than a commode. We'll do something really cool. Make you look like a submarine or something, maybe. I got a lot of ideas.
Aw, that's so nice. You know, that is how the Deep Ooze bought his loyalty. They started paying him. They're first people to ever pay him, and they upgraded his tank from a wheelchair to now he can go up and downstairs and go up and... Aw. Okay. All of you, I'm going to write... I changed status to friend for Errol and Chico. I'm now going to change status to friend for Ignatious. Aw. That's nice. So, with that concluding part 1, I think you guys made some real progress. Aw. Joining us for part 1 were Ignatious.
I think we've made some great headways with Xavier.
Errol.
I'll never look at rhubarb the same again.
And Chico.
While y'all were talking with Xavier, I found out there's a coyote in my backpack nipping at the back of my neck. It's somehow jumped in my backpack while you were talking. Snuck in there. Maya's playing tricks on me.
Do you have a review?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I do have a review from Little Electric Baby. I'm always laughing along with each episode. Keep up the fun stories.
Thank you for the review. Leave us a review on iTunes and we'll read it on air. Bye.
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 Today's mid-episode shoutout is from NLITHER, who says, quote, Tabletop Gold. 5 friends come together to play the greatest RPGs ever created, delivering deep characters, nail-biting combats, and uproarious table talk. Our current campaign is The Roots of Ruin, a production of the Pathfinder 2e Adventure Path Abomination Vaults by Paizo Inc. Come for the gameplay, stay for the personal nuggets of gold that every episode delivers. End quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. We have books on Amazon, audiobooks on Audible, and if you could tell someone about our show, that would really help. Thanks. Welcome back to Fire Breathing Kittens, a Heroes of Adventure podcast. For this episode, we play a different TTRPG every episode. Who would like to tell us what happened last time? Everybody roll a d8, and we'll see who gets closer to this number, which I'm holding it up so you can see I'm not changing it, but I've covered the numbers so you can't see what you have to avoid /match.
8.
2.
1.
And the number was a...
3.
Who's the closest to 3?
Chico.
What happened last time on Fire Breathing Kittens?
Well, when we come off the carriage and arrived at Goldberry Farm to attend Goldberry Farm's Harvest Festival, which is for feeding to the poor and giving back to the community and just having a good old time. We were bringing Xavier and Errol's father with us, and pretty much trying to convert Xavier into releasing secrets about the Deep Ooze and kind of trying to get him friendly with us. While we were enjoying the festivities, like crafting straw dolls, Errol ended up trying to craft Xavier, an Xavier shaped straw doll, but then it turned to life and then ran off. And when we went and chased after it to give it to Xavier, we got attacked by a bunch of live sentient vegetables that went to attack us. And Errol and his father got beat up real badly, but we were able to save the day and take care of them and resuscitate Errol and his father. And we're able to retrieve that Xavier-shaped straw doll and give it back to Xavier like it as his first gift from Errol. And then afterwards, we decided to go visit the straw bale maze, and realized on Arley that people were going missing in there. So we decided we were going to have them put up a closed for maintenance sign, and we'd go in there and investigate. And we were looking around and found one of the what we assumed were a missing person. Woman with turns out to be Miss Montgomery, and we weren't really able to get too much from her other than it's kind of odd that she'd be here since she's so high strung and high society. And then she got pulled away by a scarecrow. And we thought that all this bad stuff was happening because of Xavier, and we started to pressure him. And then we had a heart-to-heart, and turns out Xavier's wanting to work with us now, join the Fire Breathing Kittens, and everyone's wanting to be his friend. And now we don't know what happened to that Miss Montgomery being pulled away from that scarecrow. But that's where we left off.
So here's my suggestion, gentlemen. As I see it, we have a couple of paths before us here. I think our primary goal given to us by our guild was to befriend Xavier, and I think we have done an amiable job so far of doing that. Would you agree, Xavier? Are you feeling more friendly towards us than you did earlier this morning?
The concept of friends is a new experience for me.
Well, then he's definitely experiencing if it's a new experience for him. So right now we have to decide whether we are going to save Miss Montgomery from our straw opponent that has sucked her into the maze or not. I would vote we probably should save her if it were up to me. But I vote we either knock the bales down or light this sucker on fire.
I wouldn't start a fire here. You already started one fire, and that was to take care of that rhubarb plant that was trying to kill us. But I think it's best not to start any more fire, especially with all this hay around. Be burning down my family's farm. I said we go after that scarecrow fella.
Do you know any prayers or anything that might appease Ma-E? Because I feel like this is another rouse on us by your trickster goddess.
Oh, shuck. No, not. Look, the being tricked and being bamboozled is the what you call it, the sacrifice, or whatever you said, one of the big words, the appeasement. Yeah, that word. Just getting tricked. So we just gotta keep dealing with Ma-E and facing her trials. If it's Ma-E, I don't even know for sure or not.
Well, how do you guys propose we get Miss Montgomery? We can't just let her be eaten by a straw coyote.
What does your coyote in the backpack say, Mr. Chico?
I don't know. What do you... Ow! Stop nipping me in my neck. All right. We'll go. It didn't say nothing, but I guess we should just go after that scarecrow.
So she got pulled into the wall by the scarecrow, right? We can't actually see a scarecrow to fight. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So first we have to find her. Although I guess we should also find the other child that is, well, presumably a child, could also be a gnome much like myself, that has been lost in the maze. Well, can Archimedes see her anywhere else in the maze, or is she just gone?
Archimedes does not see the pink-gowned Ms. Montgomery, nor the other person.
Can I push into the hay and just see if I notice any signs of her through the hay bale?
The hay gives.
It seems like there's a bit of a path here.
Okay, well let's follow that.
You push yourself into the hay, and when you emerge, you're not on the other side of the wall. You're outside the farm, on the outskirts where the carriage dropped you off earlier. So is Ms. Montgomery.
Is the other kid there?
No.
It was a kid with a person with a demon mask, right?
Yes.
Can Archimedes fly up and go around the perimeter and see if they spot that person? I mean, we've done what we were supposed to do. We got everybody out of the maze. Just don't let anybody back in.
You don't... let's see. Archimedes does not see the person in the maze, and they are not at the front of the farm.
Does Miss Montgomery, is she conscious or is she wounded? Anything we notice?
She's sitting on her butt on the dirt, and she pats herself off and looks horribly offended and stands up. And she goes, "Oh, well, I never." And she, heads towards the pickup area. You guys are at the pickup area, and she's like, "Where's my limo?" And she steps into a limo, and she's like, "See if I come to this event," and gets in her limo and leaves.
Oh, wait, stop. Come back, please. Everyone will be so sad if you leave, Miss Montgomery. Well, anyway.
Well, at least she's safe.
Yeah, I was going to say at least a rhubarb plant didn't try and eat her. I'm okay with her leaving with her body parts intact.
But I would also say there was a second person in the maze, and either they are still lost or they are the culprit of this event. Do we recall seeing a demon-faced mask near us in when we were building straw dolls?
No, but there's a third possibility. I just like to point out when people haven't listed all of the options. You haven't listed all of the options.
The options potentially were lost or a culprit.
Or got out on their own, I suppose.
So, would we want to see if we can find this other individual for, like, to ask them questions, or do we find something else to do?
I think we find something else to do. We've cleared the maze and done our part.
Should we ask them to shut it down since Mai apparently is just picking people up and tossing them?
I've already talked to Aunt Orly about putting up a maintenance sign of do not enter, and she's making us some cupcakes for her. Going and find the lost people. So let's go see if we can find this culprit. If there is one. Or maybe it's Mai. Or both. Or neither. I don't know.
Well, I do recall, my father was supposed to meet us over by the Butternut Soup Kitchen, so perhaps we should go check on them and Aunt Orly.
Yeah, they got all the ingredients we gave them from early. Yeah, let's go see what they're doing at the Butternut Squash Soup Kitchen.
You're currently at the pickup area, and you walk down to enter the festival again, and it says Mai Harvest Festival. You walk under the banner, and you're back. Woo! You kind of got kicked out, and you're back. You make your way to the Butternut Squash Soup Kitchen. It's a large white tent with folding tables and chairs set up under the tent. The tables are decorated beautifully with fall red and orange leaves and twinkling magical lights. People in costume are sitting down at the tables, eating pumpkin pie and drinking apple cider. There's a long line of people slowly having their plates filled by a soup kitchen attendant, completely encased by a giant cookie costume. Their round costume is interfering in their ability to scoop food just a little bit. It's a little comical. And your dad is there, Errol. Cyril is sitting at a table by himself alone, with a slice of pumpkin pie. And it appears to be a pregnant nun. Maybe there's a different pregnant nun, but from a distance you think that pregnant nun is your dad.
If you guys don't mind, I wouldn't mind a slice of pie while we're here for a moment.
Yeah, I'm starving. We're doing all that fighting and maze searching and friendship discovering, and yeah, I'm hungry.
Well, it looks like your dad's certainly getting into the habit of it.
He hears you guys and he's like, Errol! Oh, I'm so glad you're safe. I mean, I don't have separation anxiety. What?
Don't worry, nobody's going to rapidly age him this time.
I will grab a slice of pie for me and my friends, and I will bring them to the table.
You are in line, right? There's a line.
Sure, I'll get in line.
Okay, who else is in line? Your dad's in line.
I'll get in line too.
Yeah, same.
All right, you're all in line. There's a place for everyone to get plates and forks. The straws are labeled Gift from the charity Nicomoy's Helping Hands. Straws that heat or cool the liquid in them to the set temperature before reaching your mouth. Please return when finished.
Ignatious is not going to touch those.
Yeah, I'm not doing the straw thing.
Wait, what? Hell,
Chico, don't use the straws.
none of them words made sense. What? Don't do the thing because when it reaches a temperature, they have to return it to the what and the who?
Gift from the charity Nicomoy's Helping Hands. Straws that heat or cool the liquid in them to the set temperature before reaching your mouth. Please return when finished.
I don't know if y'all recall, but the Mrs. Montgomery said she was sent here by the Helping Hands group.
And Mai or another entity has been trying to get us all day, and I am on high alert. And something that magically heats or cools liquid in my mouth sounds like a great opportunity for a good prank.
You know, I think I get it now. I don't think Mai likes this magic stuff that's not hers coming in and doing stuff and messing with her fun. And then she's retaliating, maybe. Maybe we should get rid of all this stuff.
Xavier pockets the straws. He did not need much encouragement. He hears you say that. He opens up his tank and he pours them in.
Oh, Xavier.
Yeah.
Ignatious
Yeah.
gives him the thumbs up.
Let's get
Good
all this.
thinking,
Let's get all
Xavier.
this stuff and let's get it out of here. And maybe we can just take it back to the guild and we can disperse it among everyone. Make a whole lot of friends. What do you think about that, Xavier?
Wait, you want to give him the straws?
No,
He
not
has taken
Xavier.
the straws.
That's what I'm saying. Take the straws and give them back, or bring them back to the guild, and then we can disperse them among the guild.
No, I don't think let's burn the straws. Burn the straws.
I think once we're outside of Mai's domain, I think the straws will be rendered safe. I'm just saying, anywhere Mai might mess with me, I ain't putting anything in my mouth.
Xavier, do you know anything about these straws?
Perhaps if I deconstruct them, I can fix my magical teleportation.
That's the spirit.
We'll work on that later.
Look, all I'm saying, guys, is we've got a mysterious organization that is poisoning water supplies, and they are this shady person was involved with a charitable organization that also provided straws for people to drink through. I don't think we can trust the straws.
That
I
is
agree
true.
with you. That's why I said let's get rid of them, but we can take them back to the fire-breathing kittens and investigate a bit more, because I don't know about you, but if I set my coffee down at the beginning of the day and I forget about it, it'd be very nice to drink that coffee later, and it'd be nice and warm for me.
Just don't drink from them. Biohazard.
But
For the sake of this adventure, I will not be drinking out of these.
I have an idea. Let's bring this to my Aunt Arley's attention and see if we can't figure out other things that this organization's brought in, and we'll try to get rid of it.
I like that idea, Chico, because they could put other things in there in the place.
We are just assuming that this organization is evil because one angry old biddy said she was part of this organization. I'm not
Exactly.
convinced that they are the culprits, so I don't want to spread panic and have them, pull everything out of the fair by a charitable organization and make the fire-breathing kittens thereby look like bad guys.
That's fair. Maybe we just ask, and maybe they only provided straws. Maybe we just find out what they provided.
I love that you guys were in line this whole time. And as Errol finishes saying provided, you guys have arrived at the cookie, who is about 3 feet tall. A pin on her cookie costume says Nikamoy's Helping Hands Charity. And she says to you, "Pumpkin pie? Apple cider?" She asks you.
Excuse me, you work for the Helping Hands organization. Might I ask, is all this food provided by your organization?
"By the Barrett clan.
So then why are you here?
I'm helping."
Well, you're doing a mighty good job. 1 slice of pumpkin pie and apple cider, please.
I
Well,
look
no,
at my
slice of
dad.
apple.
I look at my dad and I'm like, "Don't eat it, Dad. Don't eat it. Can't
Oh
trust
no, I
it."
already ate a pie slice.
Ignatius is not taking anything except the rhubarb that he had a hand in killing.
You get some rhubarb pie.
So this individual in the cookie, we can't see their face. Are they totally obscured in the cookie outfit?
They are totally obscured in the cookie outfit.
Do any of us recognize the voice?
That's a good question.
I don't know why. I'm just imagining it's Miss Montgomery, but no, you didn't do that voice.
Who? Just tell me 1, 2, 3, or 4. What order did you get your pie and cider in? No particular reason.
I ate. Are you talking about ordered or like picked up or?
Yeah.
ate?
So who was in line? So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You all got pie and cider. I just want to know.
Oh, I got it first.
Okay.
I was most willing to take it, and I ate the pie and then I drank the cider to wash it down.
Well, you're in line. You got your food on your plate. Okay. You're one.
Ignatius is in the back, number 4, and he is not taking anything.
Okay. Errol.
I guess I'll be behind Chico, but I'm probably not going to eat any of this now.
Okay. Wow.
I'm the
Okay, we got
poison
2 people
tester.
not eating. Okay. So just noted. Chico, you're the only one who got the first batch of apple cider. Struggling in her cookie costume, she pulls up a new barrel and opens a new batch of apple cider, which she pours and gives to everyone who's not Chico.
It is so nice to see people helping out in the community and offering things to people in need. Might I get your name so I can call on you if we require services in the future?
She says, yes, my name is Laurel.
That rings no bells for me.
1 second.
Dr. Laurel?
Yes.
Mom, what are you doing here?
Wait. And she looks past the butterfly costume. Your face painted, you've got wings. She goes, I'm helping.
Did you make the pie?
No, the Barrett clan made the pie.
Oh my goodness. Well, now I feel conflicted. Maybe I should eat this pie.
Well, just so you know, if you both pass out, I can't drag both of you out of here. Xavier, please don't eat anything. I might have to use your mechanical talents to drag our trusting friends here out of a bad situation.
Mom, were you involved with Miss Montgomery? Did she have anything to do with this Helping Hands group?
Errol, don't say that so loudly, but yes, I brought her here. And why don't you guys sit down at the table and I'll get some help and I'll sit with you, with your friends. It's nice to meet you. You are. And she looks at Chico and Ignatius and the pregnant nun.
Ignatious Cogbright at your service.
And I'm Chico Barrett. This is my family here.
And the pregnant nun is my dad, Cyril.
Cyril? She drops an apple pie. The pie tumbles end over end and falls, butter side down, on the ground. She stumbles backwards, and the whole keg of apple cider that she just opens turns over and starts emptying itself on the floor.
Oh, no! I'll help you. And Chico hops behind the table to pick up the apple cider.
Are you okay?
Cyril? That can't be Cyril. He looks so young.
It was an enchanted circus situation. He got caught in an endless time loop where he was playing ring toss, and me and some friends managed to get him out. I must take after him because his curiosity got the best of him, and he got dragged into the whole thing. It was unfortunate, but clearly we've all been making some mistakes lately. So
Errol, I just love the way you said that. It was sort of like, it happens. A magical carnival lost 50 years. The huge.
I mean, with the kittens, it seems like this kind of thing happens every other day. So
that's fair.
Cyril looks at Laurel. Obviously, you guys are out of line and you've gone to a table because and she runs over around the food distribution table and looks at the pregnant nun. And he looks at her, and he looks devastated, and a tear is welling in his eyes. He looks at his 50 years older wife. A fairy trapped me in a carnival. I didn't know how much time had passed. I didn't age. It's like the whole world lurched forward 50 years. But you look as beautiful as the day I met you, Laurel.
Aww.
Doesn't
she still look like a cookie?
Yeah. It's just eyes. Yeah. She's like the big old M&M costume.
she's definitely on brand because she's very all about sweets.
And Cyril is just sitting there waiting for her to all right, they're going to de-age her or something. I didn't actually marry a cookie, right?
She sort of takes the head off the cookie costume to talk to you guys. And she goes, when I got back from my work trip, because you remember, Errol, how you rewrote time? She wasn't a corporate spy ever. She was actually a traveling, what's that called? Consultant?
Consultant,
yes.
Yeah. She was a traveling consultant. And so she didn't get back for a few months. And when she got back, you had already, your dad was gone and 5-year-olds just kind of wander off. So you were gone and you'd wandered too far away and she couldn't find you and her husband was gone. And so she does know you now as an adult because you guys met in Snack Spionage.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. But as you can tell, she hardly recognized you the moment you got painted up like a butterfly. You guys aren't super close.
Right.
And so she's like, when I got back from my work trip, Cyril, you and our child were gone. What happened to you? Where have you been? A carnival? What? You look so young. And she's processing difficulties.
I'm so glad I've gotten to reconnect with you guys. It's good to have us both all three of us in the same room again. Let's eat some pie.
And they settle into eating pie. You guys are eating the pie?
Ignatius is still not eating pie.
My mom's serving the pie. Like she might not have made it, but now I'm in it. I gotta eat her pie.
And get me a second slice because this coyote won't stop nipping at me.
Your coyote has its own slice now. You sit down at the table, beautifully decorated with red and orange autumn leaves. There's also a straw doll centerpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And you're catching up. You're genuinely having a good family day. Your Aunt Arlie and Uncle Gene are sitting down with you guys. Ignatius, you're there.
I'm sipping out of a hip flask I brought with me. Me and Xavier I don't understand why everyone's so emotional about this cookie meeting a pregnant nun.
Coraline and Cole stop by. It's like you filled up the whole round table and you're all having a great time. What do you guys talk about?
Well, I'd like to catch up with Cole Bromley because I've barely been able to talk to him since the little cruise we were on. That Xavier, that me and Xavier got into trouble with. So that's Cole. So what's been going on? I see you've been talking with my cousin here and getting along. Y'all, hitting it off and getting along real well.
Cole is very into your cousin, and she is very into him. They're getting along super well, and they're planning to get married.
Oh, well, congratulations. I'll definitely be able want to attend and bring all my friends from the Fire Breathing Kittens to come out and see y'all. We'll be your unpaid bodyguards. How's that sound, guys?
You are welcome to volunteer your own time as unpaid security time, my friend. My time is very valuable. I have Xavier to upgrade.
Xavier's into that.
I understand. There's no hard feelings between us. I know. I'm just teasing y'all. Of course, if y'all come as bodyguards, we pay you. Well, I'm family. You don't need to pay me.
And I would be catching my parents up on kind of like what happened after they disappeared, and I would kind of remind them I'm really excited to get closer to them, but I'm also next time we get together, we should invite Rowena. She's my foster mother, and she supported me when you guys weren't around, and I really think that you need to get to know her because she's part of our family too.
And you guys make arrangements to 2 Sundays from now, I'll go out to brunch with Rowena. Aw.
And Ignatius is talking to Xavier about the RC cars that him and cousin Bobo used to put together and upgrade, and how excited he is to start doing that again with a new friend. And Ignatius is really excited that he gets to work on Xavier if he's cool with it.
Xavier is cool with it. A ghostly coyote cackles faintly. The straw doll at the center of the table animates, walks forward, and pushes Chico's face, and the tip of your nose dips into the whipped cream topping of your pie.
Ah, what in tarnation? What was that? Who did you? And grabs the straw doll. I saw what you did. Who? Anyone else hear that coyote? Was it you? And I look at my coyote, and my coyote's just and dives into the backpack. It was you, wasn't it? You told my, I'll get you.
Ignatius in a very clearly stage voice, oh my, you got us really good this time. Good prank. You don't need to do another.
Laughing really loudly and obnoxiously is a 3-foot-tall costumed devil at the next table, his face behind a garish, bulbous red demon mask, wearing a black and red satin outfit with black gloves, laughing very hard at your dismay, Chico. He misses his mouth due to the mask, and he knocks his pumpkin pie onto his lap. Ugh, he says, picks the pie up and drops it in the trash.
Ignatius, does that laugh sound like a certain warlock's laugh that I am familiar with?
Yeah.
Well, he drops that in the trash can. He's going to turn to his group and guys, this might seem a little off, but follow me on this one. And he's going to shoot the guy as quickly as he can, because that is Edmondson. And Ignatius wants to kill him.
Oh, okay. All right. So you shoot him with an arrow?
No, I have my
With
pistols.
a gun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they have a chance to stop me or talk me out of it because it's very clear that his anger is boiling over and he is about to take matters into his own hands to kill Edmonton in any situation he can get his hands on the man.
Okay, so just to clarify, Edmus space Thomas Thomason. Okay?
Yes,
All right.
Edmus Tomlinson.
Yes. So you're shooting him with a pistol.
Well, I've drawn my pistols and I am making it clear to my group what I'm going to do. And if they have no objections, I'm going to shoot him.
Is that what? I trust you. All right, Xavier, rock and sock him.
Chico, you are a good friend, sir. That is the man who's responsible for the death of my father.
Errol is going to be concerned with his parents. He's going to be like, run!
Not in actuality, but as far as Ignatius is concerned. The fall from grace is what killed his father, so it's Edmondson's fault.
Errol's running. Chico's rooting you on. Xavier's rolling up to punch stuff. He's decided he likes punching stuff. And you shoot Edmus Thomason with a pistol.
Yes.
Roll damage and roll to hit.
Well, he's also going to yell, Thomason, you son of a knoll. Is his defense better than 14?
No.
Then I got him.
How much damage did you do?
Well, it exploded for 6. Only 6.
That's a lot for an NPC. And your intention is lethal wound?
Well, yes, the character would try to kill him. As a player, I'm like, this is going to cause problems. But as the character wants to kill him.
The character wants to kill him. Well, this is unexpected. Okay.
No,
so,
you know what? I think better if I wound him and take his business. I'm trying to shoot him in the leg so he can't run away.
All right. The 3-foot-tall costume devil at the next table, his face behind a garish, bulbous red demon mask, wearing a black and red satin outfit with black gloves, laughing at Chico's dismay, throwing out pumpkin pie while posing to be as a poor person. He's clearly not a poor person. He's the CEO of... you shoot him in the leg. He goes, oof. And he falls over, and everyone starts screaming, and they all start running away.
As one does when one opens fire in public.
He's screaming. He's grabbing his leg. If you've seen the movie Ace Ventura, when nature calls, he's doing the, my leg. Everyone's fleeing. Errol, you're fleeing with your parents.
Wait, is Errol leaving? Or is Errol just...
I would definitely make sure they're clear of the area just because I don't want them getting caught in the fracas.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to be wheezing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we all forgot to wheeze.
After I see them clear, I would probably come back to try and help. But that would take a minute, I imagine.
You have the next move, Ignatious.
So he is down and not trying to get away?
He is unable to get away. What's the wound where your legs don't work so good if someone wants to consult the wound table? Yeah.
Let's see.
You shot him in the leg.
Wound table. Oops. Fuck.
That would do it.
There it is. Leg foot injury. Lose 1 health, disadvantage on agility, athletic, and move slowly for the adventure.
Move slowly for the adventure. He is only moving slowly from now on.
I don't know how evil I want to be. I kind of want to go over and shoot him in the other leg. But I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to walk over and kick his mask off of him.
It is indeed Edmus Thomason.
I feel a little bit better I didn't shoot some random bystander. Be like, Edmondson, fancy meeting you here today. Remember that last time we crossed paths and you tried to eliminate me and my friends with a horde of unsuspecting people under mind control? Remember how much fun we both had in that situation?
What episode was that?
That was Gravity Boost.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you've tried to kill me and mine. Explain to me why I shouldn't put you out of your misery.
He looks up at the tutu wearing gnome.
With a top hat.
With the top hat
I'm
and
fancy.
a mustache. Yeah. And he goes, oh, please, Ignatius, don't hurt me.
Give me one good reason why not.
I'll pay you all the money that you could ever want.
My good sir, money is not what I want. I want my father's company back.
People are screaming. Bunnies are running in from all directions. Errol's on his way back. No one will stop you from killing this man. And he looks up at you, you ballerina top hat gnome, and he says, "This is a long time coming, probably. Please spare my life. And honestly, perhaps the company should have been yours all this time." And you can hear this no, cackling. It sounds like the crackling of flames. "You weak fool."
So Ignatius is going to cock the pistol, look over at Errol, uncock it. You are lucky I have a friend who has taught me better than just putting a bullet in every problem I've ever had. So enjoy the bullet in your leg.
He says, "Following you has not done me any good." He's talking to no one. It's very strange, but if you listen to the other episodes, you know what he's talking to. And he goes, "Could you save me now?" The crackling flame goes, "You do not deserve my help, you incompetent fool." And they're arguing with one another. And he looks up at you, Ignatius, at you, you ballerina tutu wearing gnome. And he goes, "No amount of cavorting with demons has lightened my burden and the guilt I have for what I did to your father. The company is rightfully yours."
Well, then I think we have come to a good understanding here. He uncocks his gun and starts tending to the bullet wound in his leg.
This angry flame. There's nothing on fire here in this room. Maybe the chafing dishes underneath maybe a warm pot of apple cider, or a warm rhubarb pie, and the chafing dish is crackling angrily, being "But I have your soul. You're still not free." And then it fizzles out.
As he's patching up, he goes, "We can work on that. As you know, sir, all contracts can be voided under certain circumstances."
"I am genuinely sorry for what happened to your father after I took his invention. I didn't mean for him to, I didn't care. And then I found out that the poverty I had left him in led to his demise. I'm sorry."
"Well, you will have a long way to go before you earn my what's the word?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, I guess, is the best word for it. It'll be a long time before you earn my forgiveness and my respect, sir. But due to mitigating circumstances in my life and the friends I have met, I will spare your life today. And perhaps you can work towards a better life in the future." And with that, he uncocks his gun, puts it away, and goes about his merry way after he tends Edmondson's leg.
And then
he helps him to the first aid tent.
Hut. All the bunnies are coming up in formation.
And I pull out my get out of jail free card from Trickamoy Drift and go, "It's okay, gentlemen. I got this one for free."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't expect that, did you?
You've been saving that for when you met Edmus. Oh my gosh.
I was.
That's nice. I love it.
Your get out of jail free materializes as Chico being "Hey, my cousins." Go ahead, Chico, talk him out of it.
Yeah, this is my friend. This is someone he's been trying to hunt down. He's a very bad man. He finally found him. He keeps slipping away. We finally got him. Trust me on this. It was all worth all the panic and chaos. In fact, I think it's a good idea that everyone leaves. That everyone from outside is running away, because I think we got some kind of nefarious thing going on. I've already talked with Dawn early about what's going on. People getting lost in the maze. The plants coming alive and attacking people. So it's a lot of weird stuff happening, and we're getting to the bottom of it.
Ignatius, I know it took a lot for you to restrain yourself. I know what you really wanted out of this altercation, but I think that in the end, it will work out for the best.
Well, Errol, you have shown me that a bullet isn't the solution to all of my problems, just many of them.
The bunnies listen to their cousin. After all, this is Chico, the person who first introduced them to the outside world. They've all been out. They've all seen, sometimes, not on this farm, of course, not on Goldberry, but elsewhere. Sometimes people solve their problems with violence. So they accept this. They maybe help. What do you want done with Edmus Thomason?
Well, now that I have his company, he's destitute and he is welcome to apply to my company to see if he can come in as an entry-level researcher. Otherwise, he's welcome to live in poverty.
Oh, dang. They bring the Barrett clan lawyer, and they sit down at the table with you. You guys go back to Eton. Errol, your parents are back. Chico, your cousins are back, and your Aunt Arlie and Uncle Gene. And the end of the table is Ignatious filling out paperwork. And Miss Thomason.
Like every good hootenanny ends, with lawyers and paperwork.
It's not over yet, folks. We still have a little bit of content left today. We're going to go a little over. But yeah, that's how this is wrapping up. Oh man, you're all sitting back down. Y'all got your pie. You've got pumpkin pie. You've got some turkey. You got...
Hold on, everyone. Let me wipe this whipped cream off my nose. Okay, now I'll go back to eating.
Your parents are looking at you, Errol, like, my goodness, you live such an exciting life. Our son, everybody.
I would also like to ask Mr. Edmondson what he was doing here and what was his nefarious plans.
I was invited here. It was sort of a business. And then, like, the cookie's like, no. He keeps going. And he's like, I've been shot. I'm sorry. I'm spilling all of the beans. By the way, there are beans. They're delicious.
But he hasn't actually spilled them, right? Just so.
No, yeah, not those beans. And he says, Laurel said that if I dressed up as if I were poor or in costume or something, I could attend this clan that never let outsiders in and, you know, enjoy the day, take in their festivities, maybe make fun of the little inbred rabbits a little bit. I donate to her charity. So she gave me a free ticket.
We got some things to talk about.
Laurel, I think you've been naughty inviting mean people to this family's shindig.
Well, she has a history of making deals with people who are less than savory.
I didn't think it was hurting anyone. I got butts and chairs, and my business partners were having a good time.
I think that you're being genuinely honest, and I completely understand. So there was that Miss Montgomery and this, what was his name again?
Edmus.
Edmus Thomason, thank you. And this Edmus Thomason fellow, was there anyone else that you invited? Like members of the Deep Ooze Incorporated peoples? I don't know.
I've never heard of this Deep Ooze. But yeah, about 75% of the people attending today aren't actually hungry.
Why did you invite them?
I didn't think it was hurting anyone. I got butts and chairs, and my business partners were having a good time.
All right, Mom. I'm going to have to start vetting your donors. We're going to have to start looking over who you accept money from for these charitable organizations. It's not getting to the people who need the help.
The people who need the help couldn't get here anyway. Poor people can't afford to travel, and this is really out in the middle of nowhere. If it weren't for me, no one would be here and the festival would be empty.
You could have taken their donation money and went and paid for transportation.
Ignatius looks up from signing the paperwork and says, next year, the Easton House Company will donate transportation from the city of Nicomoy to out here. And he goes back to signing paperwork.
Aw, that's so cute.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, we our Bear Clan really appreciate your generosity.
Well, I certainly have the resources for it now.
Mom, what good is a charity when it doesn't help the people it's intended to help?
It does the rest of the time. This is just a little kickback to make sure those donations keep coming. I know you're young, son, but this is how the world actually works.
No. We gotta talk about like a ways and means type situation here. Me and you are gonna have to review the way you operate, or I could just not see you again. That would work too.
Oh my gosh. She is not happy, but she would never want to like you can see it on her face that she just like gasp. No, I just reconnected with you. Okay, we'll talk.
Just because someone is less experienced in life than you doesn't mean that they don't know what they're talking about. You should take some stock in the fact that I grew up to be a good and responsible adult and listen to when I say that you are doing bad things with your charitable organization.
I would just like to say this charitable organization certainly worked out for me today.
Only because they were taking money from your enemy.
Right, but now they're taking money from me.
Errol, as you tell off your mom and she and you have an ethics chat, which is a very interesting thing, talking up the authority, up the authority line about trying to correct your elders. Oh boy. You feel like she's only partially listening to you. It's, yeah. You go to drink your apple cider.
Do I?
Yeah. You guys are sitting around eating pie. You lift the cup up to head level, but you can't put it into your mouth. Your hand just won't do it.
Yeah, there was something in the food.
Xavier, give the man a straw. No, don't do that.
Can I stand up?
Yeah.
So what exactly? I just can't lift the drink?
You can lift the cup up to head level. You can get it like near your face, but you can't pull it into your mouth to drink it. Your hand won't do it.
There's a teapot around here somewhere, y'all.
Ignatious, what do you think of that statement?
I have no idea what he means about a teapot around here.
Am I the only one? Is anybody else around me drinking?
Well, I was going to try to drink because I got pumpkin pie and apple cider.
But your cider was from the first batch.
Oh.
Chico successfully drinks.
See if Errol can drink Chico's apple cider.
Errol can drink Chico's apple cider.
Chico, can you drink, or at least bring Errol's apple cider up to your mouth?
Yeah, I'm going to try to drink it.
Don't drink it, just bring it up to your mouth.
Okay.
Chico tries to bring Errol's apple cider up to his mouth. It raises to your head level just fine.
Oh, but I can't bring it any closer?
You can't bring it, you can't make yourself put it in your mouth.
That's weird. Hey, little coyote fella, can you drink this apple cider?
The coyote cannot.
This is like that water we encountered before when, a couple of times. Errol, I believe you were with me when we were wrestling, and we were disguised. I was a raccoon and you were a skunk, and we couldn't drink those bottles of water at the watering hole. I also believe I was on another adventure that made water make people go crazy, and we couldn't drink that water. I believe that this cider has probably been tainted by magical machinations of some kind. I would recommend dumping it all out. Well, the stuff that hadn't already been dumped out when she was surprised by her husband.
Chico looks at Xavier. Were you contacted by the Deep Ooze to poison the water supply again? Again?
No, I did not poison the water. I have a question. Where did this water for the apple cider come from?
Mom, where did y'all get the water for the apple cider?
I don't know. The Barrett clan made it. Hey, Coraline, Arlie, I believe my son has some questions for you.
Oh, I can...
Coraline and Aunt Arlie are like, oh, well, we made this apple cider from water from the river in Moo. There's just so much to make for a festival that we don't use our Barrett clan underground reservoir for it, for making the big party food. We pull in from the big old river.
Oh, shucks. So that was from before. Okay. I see. I think maybe me and... No.
Or the entire river has been tainted now. Ignatius, how far away is the River Emu from where we are?
Kind of far. It flows through Nicomoy and upstream of Nicomoy, up through, all the way up to the mountains. And yes, as the players have deduced, everything since batch 2948, everything before that batch you can drink, everything after that batch you can't. The River Moo officially from now until you guys fix it, or maybe it gets worse, cannot be drunk.
Ignatius is going to start asking his lawyers about getting water relief to the city of Nicomoy and what we can do to stop water from flowing through Nicomoy and the river. Like immediately is like into CEO mode about how do we fix this? And he also looks at Edmondson and goes, did the Eastinghouse Company have anything to do with the poisoning of this water?
We've been investigating. I have a certain contract with someone who finds it quite amusing. And then the chafing dish flame cackles again. So I have been investigating, trying to, use the invention for my own purposes, of course. But no, I don't know why. But local water and now the river have been doing this for quite some time. I don't know who's behind it. And Xavier says, Deep Ooze.
Xavier, I know this doesn't affect you, and you're not going to see any negative effect from it, but it's going to hurt a lot of people who can't drink, or, they're going to dehydrate and die.
That is the plan.
Xavier, do you know how to counteract the magic that makes this water undrinkable?
Negative.
Do you know who does?
Negative.
Well, that didn't give us much to work with, now does it?
Well, perhaps the Eastinghouse Company, under your new leadership, can analyze the water and try to come up with something.
That is now Ignatius's number 2 goal. Number 1 is upgrade Xavier.
Well, hey, Xavier, after Ignatius has worked on you and upgraded you, do you mind helping us find where the Deep Ooze is at?
Affirmative.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
But is the pie still good?
Pie's still good.
Ignatius pulls out his hip flask of
All
cinnamon.
right, so I did have another section for you guys before the bonfire. Can I just read it? I'm sad I didn't get to do it. I'll skip it real fast, and then we can do the bonfire conclusions.
Was it the record way off?
Yeah. There's a giant scale. There is a giant pumpkin. If you guys had fought the pumpkin and won, then you would have gotten the prize for the largest vegetable out of gratitude from the people attending the festival. And if the pumpkin had won, if the pumpkin had made each of you roll a wound before being interfered with, I wouldn't have let you guys die. But if the pumpkin had won, it would have been a named, permanently animated character.
That would have been fun.
That was fun. We didn't get to do that. But yeah, the idea was that Xavier was stealing stuff all adventure long, and that snowballed into stealing, like, Mai's a little trickstery, but as you notice, Mai's not like murdery, but Xavier would steal the wrong thing, and it would snowball and become dangerous. So anyway, it's okay. We ran out of time for the adventure. And you guys really figured out everything else. You didn't need that to happen, but I just like chaos. So I would have been like, that's fun. But so we reached the bonfire. The day is over. The night is young. The sun sets on the horizon. A roaring bonfire is almost too hot in front of you. Barrett clan members pass out marshmallows and sticks, as well as graham crackers and chocolate bars. To drink, there are mugs of hot cocoa made from chocolate, milk, and water from the Barrett clan underground aquifer. I've got 5 different categories of epilogues to share with you now, players. The outcome for each of these depends on what you did during your adventure. We'll do the pumpkin first, because we didn't get to that. If they defeat the giant pumpkin without all 3 of them getting wounds, you win the way in, and you get a smorgasbord of dried shelf-stable vegetables, enough to feed 1 person for a year, and it doesn't ever expire. We didn't get to that. It's okay. And if each player character suffered a wound from the giant pumpkin wins the way in and becomes a named, permanently animated character. So, sad. We didn't get to that. That's okay. Reveal who all the people in costume were. This is number 2 on the list of 5 epilogue thingies. Okay, you guys figured this out a lot yourself. Do you know who the ball gown wearing person that was Ms. Tabitha Montgomery from a sorta ship and a one-way trip. She's really rich and she doesn't really care about poor people, and she was here just to tourist the hard to attend clan, because the Barrett clan, by not letting people in except for once a year, has sort of made itself like a rare attraction on accident. So it was Rufus's, she was the one who chartered the ship that
he stole, I believe.
Yeah, long story short.
Yeah.
Rufus stole her ship, and she kind of deserved that. Toppling the rich is fun. Okay, so that was Tabitha Montgomery. The cookie-costumed halfling was Dr. Laurel Ravenwood, Errol's birth mother.
Yay.
Yeah, you got that.
Who clearly has to learn some things.
What?
Clearly I have to teach her a few things. Anyway.
Yeah.
The scene, I just imagine like in a video game where like you were just as beautiful as I remember you, and it turns to her in the cookie outfit. You can't even see it. It's like it's like when you're wearing like all of like the high stat stuff, but it looks stupid.
I imagine she had her cookie head off.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the name of the bee, but yeah.
Yeah. Like a mascot holding their giant furry head. Yeah. I not a perfect DM. All right.
No, it was silly and fun, and I loved it.
I liked it.
Oh, good. And the 3-foot-tall costumed devil, his face hidden behind a garish, bulbous red demon mask, was Edmus Thomason. I think you figured that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Ending 3 out of 5 was if Errol's parents figure out they're both present and make up with one another, which they did, and if they deduce that Dr. Laurel is defrauding Chico's clan. You did. You figured that out. You did a good job.
This was actually, oh wow, I just remembered the last game I ran, I actually had at the end. Do you remember the Errol? You remember the Eldritch guy that gave you the mission?
I do. I remember the result too.
And said he would get you back in touch with your parents. I guess this is it, isn't it? It said it'd be like I forget exactly the way it was worded.
Eldritch entities work in mysterious ways, perhaps.
It all worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And ending 4 was you did confront Xavier about stealing magic artifacts. That's good. And you got a bit friendly with him and got more information about the motivations of the Deep Ooze. Yeah. So they want to make all the water undrinkable so that no meat people are left in the world.
So are the Deep Ooze... No, they're not all automatons. I run into some living ones. Well, they were living when I ran into them anyway.
Now, isn't that interesting? The ones that were not metal were trying to get away from the Deep Ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ending number 5. If they correctly interpret Mai's hints that the Barrett clan was being defrauded by fake, air quotes, needy, rich folks, Chico, Mai appears to you in a flickering of the flame. Like she steps out of the fire like a ghost. Mm-hmm. The coyote harvest goddess looks directly at you, smiling her trickster coyote smile. She laughs and fades away.
Bye-bye.
Yay, Chico, you successfully defended your clan with Mai's help.
I love that. It's just such a simple this relationship. I like the relationship between the clan and the goddess. It's cute.
Joining us today were Chico.
Well, this is just a real fun adventure. I feel like we get everything we were south to do and more. And now I got to get rid of all this weird magic stuff and bring everything back in this clan and this farm to its place.
Errol.
Don't you hate when you have to be the parent of your own parents?
Some nodding. Yeah, and Chico, you know that not all outsiders are bad, and you got to be wary about the ones that are trying to defraud you. Mm-hmm. It's up to you. You've got some experience with the world to help guide your clan to interact with them, because post-isolationism, you're very vulnerable.
Hey, it's true.
Mm-hmm. And Ignatius.
Xavier, with these new resources at our disposal, my friend, you are going to become the greatest robot this world has ever seen.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
It's that part of the show again where we tell you about a podcast that you might enjoy. Have you heard of Were You Raised by Wolves? This podcast is about etiquette, manners, and beyond. Join Emmy Award-winning journalist Nick Layton and acclaimed comedian Leah Bonnema from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, the perfect odd couple as they try to make the world a nicer, more polite place, and offer up practical advice to help you smoothly glide through any situation. Check out Were You Raised by Wolves, a podcast